Hello, ladies and gentlemen, everyone that is involved in the stream to the Mania 4K World Cup 2023. And we have what a bunch of excited matches here. 3 matches at the same time. We could only show 2, unfortunately, but I mean, we're gonna see Japan versus Indonesia right now. This is such an incredible match to see this early as well. And my goodness, am I excited. My name is Juan Crystal alongside Potassium F. We're gonna be commentating this match. How are you doing, my man?
Yay, it's been a long time, and I am very excited actually for this one. A winner's bracket match. This one is one of the last couple that we've had. Japan being seed number 3 versus Indonesia, who was, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, seed number 6, around that area.
That sounds correct, honestly, but I cannot confirm nor deny that fact. I think that's how seeds work, though, right? Because you have 1 against 8, 2 against 7, 3 against 6, right? That will make a lot of sense if Indonesia was seed number 6.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I actually didn't check at all. I just did the maths on the spot.
Yeah, I mean,
and I pray that that's right.
Oh, that sounds right.
In terms of performance, though, definitely both of these teams have been some of the highest performing teams so far in the tournament. Both teams, Japan and Indonesia, they've showed barely any weaknesses the past couple weeks. Almost no misses for either side. Very high accuracy on all 3 players through every map as well. So, gonna be interesting to see what the pick and ban strategy is even from the first place.
Yep. Absolutely, for sure. And I mean, we've been joking around for a while between Indonesia and some other countries like Poland, who have been like, the reverse Poland memes. But now we have a redistributed Indonesia on Japan's side, right? Because we have red and white again. It's just everywhere.
Circular Indonesia? What do you call it?
I don't know. But there has to be a way. I'm probably going to be asking the chat for a way to call this matchup. Because it's starting to feel like a classic at this point. Japan has been improving a lot this last couple of years, and Indonesia has just been the stable powerhouse that you always expect to be there. Like, you aren't really sure every year how far Indonesia is going to make it this time, but they're always there, at least to go into the conversation. Okay, this is a team that could easily get to finals, at the very least.
Yeah, Indonesia has some of the most late game strength. They scale really well into the higher pools. And Japan as well, as you said, this is one of their most exciting teams in a long time. I would say since around 2020 when they made top 2. So both teams have a really massive chance to make it later on into the finals, into even further and beyond. I think podium is something of a potential, but they'll have to win this match first to even get a chance. And we're getting right into the rolls, it looks like here. Very strong roll from Crew K.
I mean, if they get this high into their scores as well, that they probably have it down, but we'll have to see. Indonesia still has to roll, apparently, to decide who gets the first protect and the first van. That's a 16, so not good enough. I believe that means that Japan is going to get the first protect. And actually, is it that true? I'm not confused. But regardless of who gets it first, do we have any doubts that Japan is going to protect an SV map?
No, they have to protect. SV protect from Japan is guaranteed because an SV ban from the other team is also guaranteed. So Japan are going to be protecting the SV map they want to play more, and it's actually going to be SV1, the one we've seen less of, and actually the one that I assume most players are probably a bit less comfortable on, so I kind of understand the protect there.
Yeah, so do I, and I think if I'm Indonesia, I'll probably want to avoid Cosmos Station as well, so maybe that could be another ban if you practice enough of Cyber Thunder Cider, although I don't think you can assume you can beat Japan on an SV map. At this point, if you're Indonesia, probably best to consider protecting one of the hybrids, perhaps one of the long nodes. Maybe Astra Walkthrough could be a good protect by Indonesia this time around, but mostly trying to target this historical Japan weakness on Alliance, which honestly, this year is looking like one of their strengths rather than one of their weaknesses. But then you see Rise 2 from last weekend, and they had the best score on the entirety of the tournament on it, so I'm not
Japan
sure.
Now, they don't have a weakness anymore. That's the real scary thing here. And we're getting the expected SV2 ban. Indonesia did protect Upload Your Mind, Download My Soul, which is the hybrid pick. which I think that does kind of make a fair bit of sense if you look at, you know, the leaderboards, how the teams have performed so far, at least. Oh wait, hang on, that's an interesting ban from Japan.
I honestly kind of like it. I think that Japan wants to avoid this sort of speedy-oriented picks, like, because they're just so easy to choke. And I think Japan understands that in this matchup they have the overall better accuracy, but they may be confused, whereas their physical capabilities are up there to compete with Indonesia's late game. I think they are, but they probably want to avoid those kind of battles, so bans like Gypsophila or even Nisemono would make sense in my eyes. Everything else, I think Japan's accuracy just overpowers Indonesia's late game scaling capabilities. But they're just going for a lane, so it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, okay, Astra Walkthrough is going to be the first pick, and an interesting one here. Seeing Japan first pick LN, especially the LN coordination pick, is not something I expected to see if you told me that, you know, 2-3 years ago. But here it is.
Absolutely. I will call you crazy if you're telling me, hey, Japan just first picked LN1 against any team that isn't, I don't know, Japan 2.
Just any team, just straight up. Yeah. There is no team that was as, you know, lopsided in their skill sets as Japan was a few years ago. But now, as you said, one of their strengths now really is this LNs, and it's thanks to, you know, these new players coming in, 9990 and Ice Cake, rounding out their roster really well for the LNs. But Indonesia actually has been no slouch at all. Actually, one of the LN picks last week, I believe Indonesia did actually beat Japan on in team score. So this is not going to be a free win by any means, I don't think.
I don't think. If you're thinking about LN2, which was AO Infinity, there was literally 600 points between Japan and Indonesia. So LNs are going to be an intense battle. We haven't seen Indonesia play the coordination pick last weekend, but we've seen them playing LN3, and they had the best score as well in the entirety of the tournament. So these two teams are very well capable of holding their ground with LNs. And LN1 is just kind of a question mark. Japan had a really, really good score last weekend, but they have no idea how good Indonesia can perform on this. And if I have to place my bets, I'll say Indonesia is going to be very, very good at this.
Yeah, you have to imagine Indonesia would be fairly comfortable, at least as far as the combo is concerned. I just want to note, just for some people in the chat, the name Nisha Labyrinth is something that I didn't realize as well before the match, but it is actually Adiza, name changing 2 days ago. So definitely one of the really strong players on Indonesia coming in here for the LNs. But I'm looking mostly towards, you know, the Japanese side, particularly in Ice Cake and Crew K. We know these two players are very strong when it comes to, you know, the LN release accuracy in particular. And maybe that's why they picked this one first.
And there we go, ladies and gentlemen, hold your mates, because it's about to start. Japan versus Indonesia, pick number 1 by Japan, Astra Walkthrough. And they want to start with the right foot, although I will say this is a pretty contested pick. I'm not sure if this is my favorite that Japan could have made, but we'll see if it works out.
That said, I can't really think of too many picks that I would confidently say Japan always wins. I don't think either team has many picks like that, but here we go, starting off with a little bit of a shaky start from 9990 compared to the rest of the field. Small 1,000 point lead for Indonesia, but that should not last.
And as we get into the crazy Chrysalis lane patterns, this kind of structure that is very, very high in terms of density and really, really punish you if you're not coordinated enough. And that's exactly what happens to 9990, who had a rough start of this intro with the accuracy department now dropping combo as well, giving a 10,000 point lead in the favor of the Indonesians. And now with a trade from Ontavekasi, things are going to get into equilibrium once more. But I think the accuracy overall seems to be in favor of the right side here.
Yeah, definitely Indonesia with the ACK lead. Most of that coming in the difference between the two players with the misses. Ontavekasi beating 9990 by about 0.2%. That's most of it. The other 4 players fairly similar, but Bad HD player, oh, Ice Cake actually finding another miss for Team Japan. That's only Crew K, the last one on the full combo. Indonesia gonna start building up a bit of a lead halfway through the map.
Lead will probably not be getting a little bit much higher than this. 10,000 points seems to be the average gap we're gonna see in this LN map for the most part. And as long as no more misses happens, well, and as I'm saying,
Classic.
yeah, classic Labyrinth miss here. And things are getting again back into equilibrium mode with a slight accuracy advantage for the Indonesians. This will stay on the 2000 point mark, but with just a rush of 200s, it can easily swing to the other side. And as we're reaching the combo cap here, I'm looking at a bad HD player whose concentration is a bit early, and there is the miss.
Oh my god, how do you do it twice in one map? That's going to turn it towards Japan. Krukei, the only full combo left in this map. And it's going just by a little bit, 3,000 points the lead. Japan now actually having a little bit of an AK, well, not really a lead actually, the AK is tied.
It is exactly tied, but the map is almost over, and with no misses happen now, it's only 2,000 points in the favor of the top seeded here, and it will not flip at the end, even though a couple 200s happen on 999 side. It will be a victory for the pickers here, and what a clutch though.
That was not the first pick that Japan may have wanted in the end. There are a few misses from both sides, perhaps feeling the nerves here, but you know, all's well that ends well here. 2,000 points is the lead for Japan, and they managed to take their first pick.
Wow. I mean, I just take a break of commentary for 2 rounds, and then this happens. I don't know what to say.
You've built up the curse power, ready to unleash it on this map.
I mean, okay, I got to be fair though. Bad HD player was certainly rushing those parents a little bit, and as I start to see a bit of a regular 300 spring, I mean, it was bound to happen, and that's just what happens in coordination picks. Once you start deviating from the center, you can just easily drop anywhere. You just start to try to adjust your timing in order to hit those juicy 300 Gs, and you just miss. And that's so normal. It happens all the time, and unfortunately it happened at the moment that mattered the most. The Indonesians here who are gonna go for calculator, trying to get their momentum back. Because if they started with a breakpoint against team number 3, Japan, who's promising to be one of those teams that we are likely gonna see at the very least on the winners finals, now Indonesia is certainly proving to be a fight, and in the quarterfinals no less.
Yeah, this is looking like a very close matchup for sure. Indonesia, they're feeling comfortable with the hybrids. They've been performing one of the best teams on some of the hybrids last week. So I think this makes a lot of sense as long as they're comfortable on it, but it is a very short map, so individual chokes are going to matter even more than they did on the previous map. We're actually seeing a few swap outs from Japan, interestingly enough, Krukei being swapped out here. I do understand JH Lead Girl coming in, definitely one of the very strong players on Japan that is capable of playing pretty much every map.
So the thing with JH Lead Girl is, I mean, I remember back then that used to be the combo guy, and in a map that is this short, you kind of want that combo guy in your team because any cho will make such a difference.
Yeah, I'm interested to see if we're seeing Krukei come back in. I would expect Krukei to be playing most maps just due to the the sheer level of accuracy and just consistency across the board that he has. But Ice Cake, okay, Ice Cake coming back. One of the LN players. I guess that makes a lot of sense. So they've picked their players here, and Indonesia staying with the same roster they had with the LNs.
And now as we're going to start with pick number 2, Indonesia wants to recover from the initial very close breakpoint. And honestly, if they can just win their picks, this should be fine for them regardless. We'll see if Hybrid 3 is the kind of thing Indonesia is looking for. It's, again, one of those picks that you're not very sure which team is on top. But considering that Japan is keeping this LN roster and so is Indonesia, I will expect this map to go, well, kind of similar to what we saw last time, and I see already an early mistake just before hitting the combo cap again from Labyrinth, and that opening is going to be in favor of Japan once more.
Yeah, but the accuracy is being actually kept fairly good for Indonesia, and that's a miss for JH Lead Girl right there. That looks like the act drop as well is going to flick things back over to Indonesia, who now has the accuracy lead.
And the combo man cannot hold combo this time around, but a trade once more by Bad HD player will give the lead back to Japan's hands. And even though the accuracies are looking quite close, Indonesia seems to be taking a bit of a hit with the misses here, as bad HD players trying to recover onto the range of JH Lead Girl. There's still more missiness on the Indonesian side, and this is the problem when you have an LN roster that starts to struggle a little bit with the rise. Most of the misses we have seen on Indonesia are on these tricky bursty patterns, and that's completely understandable when you have long nose specialists. Those are the patterns that are going to make you choke, and on a hybrid, that's exactly what you would expect. And unfortunately, it's not happening to Japan if you're Indonesian, that is. And but with 2 full combos, I mean, extremely good accuracies as well.
But you say LN roster, but the only LN player on Indonesia is actually the one that's holding the full combo still. So Under Bekasi, the one that switches in for the LNs, and it looks like now Japan with a very strong lead, but this is the end section. It gets a bit faster here. Wonder if we're seeing any chokes coming out from either side, but Japan have a bit of a buffer.
They definitely have a big buffer here with 15,000 points. There's not enough time, really, and Japan will take the first breakpoint and complete similar scenario. Well, not necessarily. I think this time Japan just won more convincingly, but both points were very contested at certain amount of time, right? Indonesia at the start, had they not missed, they were holding the better act. And if you see the result right now, the 200 counts is in favor of Indonesia as well. It's mostly just about the misses.
Yeah, basically entirely about the misses. You can see the accuracy basically dead even between the two teams. Take away the misses from Indonesia and they definitely would have taken that point. But it is Japan moving to a 2-0 advantage, and they get to pick next. The thing is though, Japan only have one pick that I think is very safe, obviously being the SV map that's up. All of the LNs and the hybrids, and the Rice. Oh, okay, we're seeing LN3 being picked. They decide to double down on the LNs despite that first map.
I was about to say, I hate this pick. I don't like this at all. I think this was the perfect time for an SV1 pick, because you're forcing Indonesia's hands to pick something they may not be so sure about. Like, LN3 is the map that Indonesia is extremely good at, always, every time. And I think this is not going to be an exception to that matter. And considering how close LN1 was, I don't think this is an Indo pick. I'm very surprised Japan is going for this.
Yeah, this is a very interesting one. I guess Japan, they just really don't want to be facing Indonesia's Rice, but I mean, Indonesia's LN is really scary. We just saw it just then. They had the advantage in the first map.
Like, I think had you not wanted to go for SV1 at this point, Hybrid 1 was probably the pick to go for if you don't want to risk Rice, that is. Like, Rice would be probably too risky, especially if you're winning 2-0, you don't want to lose a breakpoint. You would rather have Indonesia be the one making the hard calls. And with LN3 out of the way now, I mean, Indonesia can just break points at you, and that's exactly what you want to avoid. You want more info, I think, at this matchup. But we'll see. If we base ourselves on the previous round, Indonesia takes this, but with the scaling, we'll see if that holds true.
We do know Indonesia's very good with the scaling. Oh, that is a bad start for JH League Golf. Couple of misses. Gonna be okay eventually though, managing to bring up the accuracy fairly fast. But, oh, hang on a second. The accuracy for Indonesia is not holding on very well at all. So it's Japan, despite the early miss from JH League Girl, managing to keep even in the score.
You're seeing Oliver joining here for Indonesia, and that may be part of the factors as of Indonesia struggling a bit with accuracy, but they're certainly coming back at it, and the scores are just flickering back and forth. Despite the early miss from JH Lead Girl, Japan still holding strong and not messing up on those mini jacks. Arguably the hardest part to combo through the map. It's the classic toe fashion with the LNs being extremely difficult to read and like just hit through. But the scores are just rushing back and forth every time. If you compare the accuracy, I think there's a ever so slightly advantage to Indonesia, and that singular miss by JH Lead is proving to be the difference between these two. But I mean, we're just gonna have to wait until some action happens. We have to see a couple 200s at the very least to see which team is really on top at this point. And on those transitions, both teams are equally dropping accuracy back and forth, and there's no misses still.
Oh, JH League Girl finds a little bit of an act drop again, but it's traded back. It's going back and forth still. We're at the last third of the map just about, but Albert That's a big miss, dropping in accuracy as well. 7,000 points immediately in favor of Japan. And still basically
wow.
5 full combos on the board.
Bad HD player and Ice Cake both certainly being the carries here for each team, and they are not missing. It will probably come to them, but there's a miss. But Bad HD player not the miss they were looking for, as Japan extends this lead. 16,000 points now, and I don't see them losing this any time. A quarter of the song remaining, and with another miss from Arvid, Indonesia is just collapsing as the map pool seems to be a bit too difficult compared to last week. And Japan just proving that their scaling power is too strong, at least on the LN department, it seems.
Yeah, they've managed to find their consistency. They've found their combo here. Ice Cake finding a few 200s there. Not going to matter at all, though, as we're at the very outro. And it is going to be Japan with, I mean, I think you can call this an honorary 3-way FC. Jade League Girl messing up the very first pattern, but it is going to be a very strong team score for them.
This is what I call a 2.9 way FC.
2.9.
I mean, don't take Onta out of the equation either, right? They were very, very close to be the top scorer as well. It's just on the 200s. And we are seeing Bakamitai instantly going into the Rice department now. If you're Indonesia, you have to be scared because we haven't seen anything between these two teams when it comes to the Rice. And this is one of those picks that's hard to make, but at some point it had to be made. You lost 2 LNs, you lost on the hybrid that you thought you had the best chance. There's still a Protect available, but I think this is a pretty good option. At this point, if you win Bakamitai, you can force Japan into picking SVs, and you have the options. If you win this, you can go for Frums, you can go for Break the Silence, I will assume. And I mean, if you lose, you just lose. Like, there's not much you can do. Like, if you lose at everything, there isn't much strategy you can really apply to put pressure on the opponent.
I definitely feel like Indonesia have the they have some ways in for some of those LN and hybrid picks that we've seen, but now that they're 3-0 down, they're 1 breakpoint down, they do definitely want to be trying something a little bit new. The Rice pool untested today, but that said, Japan do of course have their Rice specialist players coming in. AM Duskia being the one, as everyone knows, a mainstay in the Japanese team.
We have this debate between AMD and Intel every year. I mean, not just in the PC department.
Unlucky that Intel isn't playing anymore for MWC.
I know. But it's so sad.
We'll see how this one goes. Actually off to a very good start for Indonesia right away. JH League Girl having a little bit of an act drop, but nothing serious.
And I'm liking how this start is looking for the Indonesians, as you were mentioning. They're starting very strong with very high accuracies on every single one of their players. And this is what keeps me wondering a little bit. Now that we are seeing JH Lead accuracy being a little bit lower compared to everybody else, you start to wonder, if Indonesia can keep this up, this opens up a lot of picks on the Rice department for them to go for. It's just surprising that they did not go for this earlier. Well, to be fair, this is their second point, so I don't want to be very rude with them. And they still haven't won it. There's only a 3,000 points of difference in favor of them, but you just see the accuracy from Nisha Labyrinth, and you're like,
That's crazy. 99.9. They're all performing so well. And 9990 finding the first miss. That's going to give an even bigger lead to Indonesia. But here we go. This is the main section. Oh, another miss coming from 9990.
Imagine you're just playing this map, you have the miss, you're listening to the song, it's only fitting. But Japan is still trying their best to hold on to this. The 17,000 points of difference, and Indonesia's accuracy is just not going anywhere. Only Nisha Labyrinth struggled a little bit at one of those very, very fast bursts. But they're just utterly and absolutely destroying this map.
Yeah, definitely, and it doesn't even matter with their accuracy anymore as long as they keep the combo. 990 finding a third miss there. It looks like this one is going to wrap up. 27,000 points the lead, and one more miss for the end, but that is going to be it. And my goodness,
I'm not going to put the blame on 999 because even with an FC, that was not Japan's point at all. Indonesia just trashed this map like utterly destroyed. There's 2v1 double S's. Like,
Oh my god.
what is wrong with you guys? And 999 had the V1 double S as well, had he not missed 4 times in the middle of the map. Very clean misses, but like I said, even with the FC here, that would have been maybe like a 992k, and that's not enough. Indonesia would have just straight up won.
It's the ratio. Look at the ratio difference. All of Indonesia beating all of Japan, even though Japan had the better 200 counts. That's a really strong pick for Indonesia, and I think they've found their way in. I think they've found the kind of avenue that they want to be attacking later on in this match. They're not out of it yet. They're only 1 breakpoint down.
That much is true. And of course, Japan still has SVs, which is kind of, like, we can technically call this match maybe 4-1 because Japan just has the SV there to pick. It's only a matter of time for them to go for it. But I mean, as much as I think Japan is the best SV team in the entire tournament by a fair margin, Indonesia, I mean, can they pull up a fight?
I think Indonesia is definitely a decent SV team, but the problem is that Japan, not only are they like really good with the SV maps overall, but they have such high accuracy. We've seen such absolutely bonkers ratio on all 3 of the Japanese SV players that even if they miss, as absurd as it sounds, even when they miss and choke, they can probably still beat 3 FCs.
So insane. Like the one way you can beat Japan is if they disconnect in SVs.
Oh my god. I think some teams are definitely capable of it, but I just don't know if Indonesia is one of those teams.
They're just avoiding the SVs. They just don't care.
Yeah,
they're going for their opponent's protect.
Yeah, I was gonna say this is what Indonesia protected. Upload your mind, download my soul. Now this is another map with littered with a lot of jacks, a lot of LNs with jacks. The combination there, which I guess that's kind of in the same vein, similar kind of patterning as the LN3 pick, which they won fairly convincingly in the combo side of things at least. I guess they're just trying to just hope that Indonesia miss as much as they have been.
I mean, if I was on Indonesia, this is the moment. This is the switch. This is the time where you have to focus all your energy, because this is the ideal world. Like, you have the information that you wanted. Now you know you can compete on Rise, and you have a fair advantage on accuracy overall, not just on Rise. I think the ratio and overall perfect accuracy from Indonesia is looking a little bit sharper than Japan's. It's just a matter of avoiding chokes. And in a map that you protected, this is the kind of map you can and should avoid your chokes. You need this breakpoint to get back into the game, and I think Indonesia has a pretty fair chance to just win the entire match if they win this map. That's how important this pick really is.
You know, maybe this is just Japan big braining. This is psychological warfare. This is a point that Indonesia know they have to win. They want to break point back. They want to get a bit of momentum. They want to break the point back. They want to get back into this. They know they have to win it. And Japan picks their own protect.
Kind of like throwing them off, right?
Yeah, it's like, hang on a second. Now we have to win this. Otherwise, it's going to make us look silly.
I mean, there's obviously going to be a lot of pressure involved on both sides, because Japan cannot really afford to lose this either. In typical Japanese fashion, they're saving the SV for last, as they always do, as a kind of guaranteed match point. But, I mean, can they hold on to that? If they lose this map, I don't think they can.
I think Japan can definitely lose. This is a very choke-heavy map. Indonesia, it's going to come down to Indonesia. They really need to hold on to the combos. They've struggled a little bit towards the end of, a couple of the LN hybrid maps, but if they manage to hold on to the combo, they have the accuracy to be able to contest Japan's
scores. Oh my goodness.
That's a good start for Indonesia. 990 finding an early miss.
Come on, Albert. All the eyes are on you, my friend. We've seen Lavrin and Bad HD player performing really well on picks like this before, and Albert stepping up for the team here. If he can hold this FC, I mean, I think Indonesia just has what it takes to win this. And, I mean, we are on Combo Cap ready between every single one of the players, and it's a gap of 4,000 points in favor of Reverse Poland. No problem with the jacks over there, and as we start to enter this difficult section, we see the first miss from Indonesia, and that's Albert's side. Japan will take the lead off of that, mostly due to the accuracy drop, not just the miss.
That was a
from
huge
the
act
second
drop down
player.
to 99.2, and 990 already recovering the act really well to 99.6. This is switched the lead around 4,000 points in favor of Japan, but that's not a very safe lead. That can switch right back with any miss.
Here's the thing though, Alvid had a couple of misses and some 200s, but now his accuracy is going up, and the accuracy from the Japanese players on the bottom section are going a bit down, whereas Bad HD and Nisha Labyrinth are both just skyrocketing high, and this lead, Alvid is growing a little bit now. It was shrinking for a moment. Have to see if that trend continues. I see a couple 200s on UK, but now Arvid's gonna drop once more the ball, and with a quarter of the song remaining, Japan needs to collapse if they lose this, but otherwise they're holding very strong.
Yeah, the lead is just growing further and further, Albert with the other miss, and the act drops as well. That's really just making the whole difference here. 4 players still with the FC, only one very early miss from 9990. That's the entire mistake that Japan has made so far, and they're going to manage to hold it out with another one of these, you know,
It's not just a
2.5
miss.
FCs.
Yeah, exactly. It's not just a miss, the 2.9 FC again, because just look at how close to the combo, full combo is. Like, it's just 100 combo away.
Yeah,
And they have the
managed
exact
by
same 300 count.
Yeah.
2K and 9990. Wow, that's so unfortunate though. Like Alvid's ratio is really good too. It's just that those misses are the difference maker here.
Yeah, you can see Nishan Labyrinth and Bad HD player. Those scores are incredibly high. You can see why they wanted to protect that, why they left that up in the air. But Japan's consistency right now, as far as the combo goes, has just been better. That's been the story of this match so far. Indonesia, they get their own pick, not wasting any time. Nisemono right away. I think that's a pretty good pick after what we saw on Bakamitai.
Well, I have to agree. Like after seeing Bakamitai, you kind of want to see more physically oriented picks, and this is the only Rise pick I think that remains that is physically challenging enough for these players. Like, even though Japan had one player only choking on Bakamitai, this is the kind of map where I expect more people missing, and that can only favor Indo, right? The ratios were overall better, their consistency was overall better, and I think Bad HD player and Initial Labyrinth are just a bit above the physical capabilities of pretty much every player in the Japanese team.
Yeah, we'll see if that can keep up on another one of these Rice picks here. Now, obviously, I do think this is probably one of the best of the Rice. You know, looking at the other Rice pools, the Jack map and the Jump Stream map, you know, if I say that those are the maps to pick against Japan, then, you know, the world is turning upside down.
I mean, it kind of is. We were saying, like, Japan just kind of did a full 180 on their skill sets, and even though they're still amazingly good at Rise, they just seem to be stronger at the rest. And Indo's proving this to be the case in some bits because they won only on Rise so far. And if they win this, I mean, they still just need a break point. But again, we have to consider Japan still has TSV open.
So that means that this is a must-win as well for Indonesia, because if they lose this, then Japan can immediately pick that SV pick.
And here we go again. The scores are pretty equal, but Japan being the slight favorite here.
Oh,
ever so slight.
no.
Actually, I'm not really sure. If you see the accuracies,
Yeah,
it
look at
seems
the
like
accuracies.
The Indo is just winning, but the client doesn't seem to like that idea for some reason. And there's the miss by 9990. That's, well, a trade now from Nisha Labyrinth. And it's gonna go back and forth again. The miss from Nisha was a bit less clean than 999, so I would argue Japan's on the lead now, for real. Like 400 points of difference each.
Yeah, but I do think the Nisha Labyrinth's accuracy is rising, but actually another miss now. That's going to give Japan a bigger lead. 9990 traded, but very clean trade from 999.
Oh, Dusky misses.
Here, finding a miss, and that is the second player from Japan missing.
And there's another one as well. 9990 misses again. And now Indus on the clear lead. 5,000 points, and still 2 players need to hit the combo cap before that happens. Wow. Right before the break too.
Act lead now definitely in favor of Indonesia. 9990 and Nisha Labyrinth both with the same accuracies, but Albert and a Bad HD player holding monstrous acts right now. Oh my god, it's so tense. Even though it's a 10,000 point lead, this could flip with just a couple chokes. Very possible on the map that's technical as this.
And the map is pretty backloaded as well. Like, the ending is very, very tricky. The streams, I recall, are very, very hard to hit. And that could be... I mean, again, I don't want to say it, but Ovid needs to hold through those streams. He's doing extremely well this time. 99.87. Very, very good. And so has to hold for Nisha Labyrinth, the only player on Indonesia who has missed so far. If they want to take this point, that's what needs to happen. And as we're getting into this very heavy 315 streams, can they hold their ground? It doesn't seem like accuracy is dropping by any of the players, although I see some rushes from Nisha Labyrinth and I'm getting scared. Will they be able to hold this lead just a little bit longer? There's the miss by Nisha.
Oh my god,
the scores are not flipping though. I don't think there's enough time, but Japan is trying the best.
The lead is shrinking ever so slightly, 3,000 points. But it ends up being Indonesia just at the end. Juan trying his best to curse the Indonesian team by naming every Indonesian player one by one, but it is not enough for Japan to take it.
That's how big of an advantage Indo had. They survived.
And that is a very strong FC from, what is that, 100 from that HD player?
I mean, just not that. Look at the ratio. Like, the ratio is ridiculous. 169 on a map this hard. It's insane.
They have the Rysak. Japan have the Rysak as well. It's just the misses that have really tipped the scales in that one over to Indonesia. It stays a one breakpoint match. Indonesia need to take a breakpoint at some point. We have to keep iterating it.
That's a good sign. Japan is asking for a timeout. If you're Indonesian, you are like, okay, we are putting them in a situation when they have to think about what to pick. And they still have SV open. That may mean that Japan is just considering to go to SV1 now.
I think this has to be... This is potentially the last pick that Japan has. You know, theoretically, if Japan win the next two. So... there is no way that they don't pick the SV at some point, right? So I feel like they are going to pick the SV now. I would be very sad if they didn't, because I definitely want to see Japan play SV every week.
I mean, I'm thinking they are considering the options between Blooming and Sample Ensemble. But honestly, Blooming even is looking risky enough. I don't think they go for Heaven's Fall. Like, Heaven's Fall is the map that I see Indonesia, considering how the match has been played, is the LN map that Indonesia has a chance. Like, they couldn't win on LN1 due to very, very small issues. And Heaven's Fall is one of those maps that you're not going to have those issues. And Indo is just out accuracy in Japan. Plain and straight. And if they just out accuracy on Heaven's Fall, they can maybe even afford to get a singular miss of this advantage. That's how much of an advantage I think Indonesia will have on that map. And they don't want to go for that. Japan does not want to go for Heaven's Fall here. It's, I think, a matter of Blooming or Sample. I don't think they're considering any of the right consistency picks here. I don't see them going for Edison. I don't see them going for Cosmos Station either. Like, Edison would just be at like a straight up the worst pick in the world right now, I think.
I see a weird world in which Edison is picked here. Funnily enough, it will be stupidly tense. So I don't think that Japan want that at all. You have to go for SV. You have to at least guarantee the tiebreaker right now. Put Indonesia on the back foot while Japan have the lead in the match. You can't let it creep up to 4-4 when you have this lead. So I think that now, you know, if any time, it has to be now.
You can cut the tension of this with knife, but oh my goodness. Japan's surely taking the time, trying to cool down, maybe kill the momentum a little bit from Indonesia, which honestly, it's perfectly reasonable. Japan respecting Indonesia here, understanding that they have to be very careful what to do on the rest of the match, because again, let's imagine this match goes to tiebreaker, right? I mean, are we sure Japan wins a tiebreaker? I don't think.
I don't think we can be entirely sure at all. I mean, we've seen Japan be better when it comes to holding combo, but I feel like Indonesia have what it takes as well if they manage to, you know, hold on just a little bit longer.
Sample Ensemble.
This was the right. I think this was absolutely the right pick. Now I don't think you can afford to delay it anymore, and it is going to be Japan SV. On paper, this should be the most one-sided pick that we see in the pool.
99% to 1, I think. I would call that way. Like, that's the advantage we see on Japan. Like, Japan has the winner SV SE, like the winner of the SV tournament, and I think the runner-up as well is Japanese.
No, wait. No. So here's the thing with Japanese team. Japan has the SVSE 1 champion in Crew K, and the 2 SVSE 2 champions in Gyoza Goki and Ice Cake. Their whole SV team are the only winners that SVSE has ever had.
That is so ridiculous.
But that said, Indonesia does have ASCII Fanboy, who I know is an extremely strong SV player. I just don't think it's going to be enough to hold off the sheer ability that Japan has as a whole.
As a full unit, yeah. I'm expecting to see Ice Cake here, right?
Oh, absolutely. There shouldn't be any other swap in here for Japan.
My goodness. Like, if you're Indo, at this point you have to be proud. You are the first team that forced Japan's SVs before they wanted to. That's an achievement. You force Japan's hand on a map that historically they saved for last to finish off their opponents. This time they have to use their silver bullet a little bit earlier than expected. And that speaks on itself of how good of a team Indonesia is, really.
Yeah, Indonesia have definitely been performing very strongly here against Japan, who is the highest seed. So, on paper it is expected that Japan wins, but I do still think in this match, despite how the points have gone, Indonesia have a way back in. I don't think it's just going to be on this pick, though. We'll see what ends up happening here. This is one that I think is very hard to be very comfortable with this map. With the amount of slow jam it has, it's very possible to just completely overcook a pattern.
I'm going to quickly quote an Indonesian commentator, I think it was, "You never know what's going to happen." Or something like that.
That's a bit of a throwback.
Oh, that's very old. And I'm going to sample.
Retro EX having a little bit of a difficulty compared to the other players in the lobby, below 99%, but still holding the full combo early on.
Excuse me, is my stream lagging a little bit? Or is it just the SVs? Look at those teleports, let's go!
Oh, a miss for Onto Bikasi, the first one here, drops down to 98% flat as well. And I mean, look at these Japanese.
I was about to mention that. What?
99.92 is the lowest. ASCII Fanboy with 99.78, but that's just not enough by himself here.
Oh, this is just ridiculous. I am actually mad at this. Like, there's no way they're this good.
Oh, misses coming out from Indonesia. I mean, that's it really for this pick. You cannot imagine any comeback from this point. Onto Bikasi dropping down to 95%.
I mean, don't get me wrong. ASCII Fanboy score is insane. And like, that score alone would probably be the best score of like 90% of the teams that are still remaining on the tournament. And that's still not even, like, it's 0.3% away the worst score of Japan. That is so ridiculous.
Yeah, ASCII Fanboy would have been. This score is MVP level in any other match. Just straight up. This is just the gap, the chasm that exists between Japan and every other team in SV this year. 99.
Can I ask for one thing? No!
Okay.
I was about to ask for just one thing and just have a triple tie on the Japanese team between themselves. But
okay,
that's just not happening now.
Here's the one thing about Japan's SV this year. They haven't actually three-way FC'd any SV maps.
That is so ridiculous.
This is the third miss in a row. 3 rounds, 3 misses. But despite that, I mean, they're getting the best team score.
They're just flexing, right? At this point, like every time you see an SV map, they just flex.
Yeah, no team beats this.
Oh
score.
My goodness, that is so ridiculous. Even with the miss, Every player
Oh
is
my
above the
God.
980,000 points.
Oh my, how
What
do you
is that ratio?
You're not
You
supposed to
combine
ratio
every
this.
you combine every single 300 on the Japanese team, and it's still better than 2 of the Indo players.
So, you know what I've been thinking about? What would be a fun show match is just Japan versus the entire rest of the world, SV only. Like, gather the best
I
other
mean,
SV players in
I
MWC.
want to think that the world has a chance to be 30,000 points away of Japan. That's how
Oh
close
my
the world is.
No, there's some strong players in the world. They're just on completely different teams. So unfortunately, not enough to beat. I mean, I feel like that would be an interesting show match. But
Oh, it would.
that aside, this is now breakpoint for Japan, 5-2. So Indonesia are going to need to win 3 in a row if they want to take it to the tiebreaker. They do get 2 of those picks theoretically.
Exactly.
So
They only need to break point once, and Japan is out of silver bullets. They don't have the SVs anymore. And as we were saying, the match was not really 4-2, it was actually 5-2, we just never told you before. And that's because of the SVs. And now that is gone, and Break the Silence is gonna be the pick that Indonesia goes for. And I don't want to get my high hopes very high, but I'm liking this pick from Indo, and I think next pick for Japan is gonna pretty much decide who wins this match. I expect Indonesia to win this pick, and I think they have everything that they need. And considering they had the time to like focus a little bit, I mean, if you're Indonesia, you kind of knew that you were losing SV1, so you could take that time to strategize instead of taking the timeout. You think of what the strategy is going to look like after it, and I think Break the Silence was the perfect pick for them. So they certainly used that time properly. And if they win this, oh boy. I mean, I can already feel the nerves from every player that is playing. If Indo wins this, there's a very serious chance.
I think it's on, absolutely. And Japan, now that they're ahead by this much, they want to finish it off as fast as possible. I think every point from now on that Indonesia managed to string together in a row is just more and more advantage in the momentum, in like just the team morale that they're going to get leading into, you know, a potential tiebreaker. And this is a fairly good, as you said, this is a really good pick for them, given what we've seen. They have a really, really strong rice ratio capability.
And the fact that we're not seeing Japan.
Yeah, Japan just missing?
Yeah, it's just gone. And there's Ice Cake.
Oh, Ice Cake. Okay. Interesting. Ice Cake to me is more of an LN hybrid SV player for Team Japan, but although we have seen Ice Cake play in some of the round of 32 Rice, definitely a very strong Rice player as well. We'll see who ends up being the third to come in for Japan here. Also would just like to remind all players that just played the SV to change your scroll speeds back to regular. That is not the way that I want this match to end.
Oh my god. Wait, do we even have Indo players who play the SV map?
Did they have 3 switch outs? Albert and
It was Onta, Retro X, and ASCII Fanboy.
Oh yeah, that's just 3 switching out.
Literally the 3 full switch.
So Indonesia doesn't have to worry, but just you know, Ice Cake Crew K, I'm sure they've changed it back. I'm sure that's, you know, they just had a quick leaving the lobby to change some settings. But here we go. This is pivotal point for both teams, of course. Indonesia, a must-win for every single map from now on. Japan wanting to close it out. And we've seen the Rice picks. All of them so far have been very close.
I mean, I'm already feeling nervous, so you can only imagine how nervous the players are at this point, especially the Indonesian ones. I bet this is a winner's bracket match, so nobody gets eliminated from the tournament after this match is over, but you really want to continue the winner's bracket run. Semi-finals winners, it means top 6, and that's a very, very, very good feat for any of these 2 teams.
Yeah, 1 win here is worth 2 in the losers bracket as well, so you're gonna save yourself some very scary matches by staying every single week you're in the winners bracket. And starting off this match, it looks like it's fairly even between both teams. The accuracy overall being matched 1-for-1 for both players, both sides.
Basically seems like AM Duskia is the only one who's pulling the accuracy a little bit behind for Japan. Albeit now climbing a little bit and stabilizing. All the Japanese players seems to be on the equal footing.
The difference maker right now is Nisha. Nisha Labyrinth is above everyone else in the lobby, 99.86.
Exactly. And this map is tech, of course, it's very techy, but it's fairly consistent too. There isn't many things that can catch you off guard if you know the song especially. There's only those triple jacks at some point that can throw you off, but otherwise this is pretty much bait for most of the players here. I think they all have the physical capabilities to just hit these patterns regularly. Like, this is just an map for most of this.
But when you top on, you know, all of these nerves that you have to be feeling tournament setting in a team tournament, even simple maps can end up being massive choke bait, especially when you have such, you know, technical patterns. There's mini jacks everywhere here, 3-note jacks, bursts, so much that if your fingers slip even a little bit, have
and
a little
bit
of
doesn't help at all.
Oh
like,
my god. I've seen misses
3,000 points. Okay, now into this last third of the map, which is arguably the hardest section of the entirety of the chart, mostly due to the song intensity. You don't have any more breaks until the very end, and you have those mini jacks into triples. Nobody's messing those around, and everyone is holding the combo.
Oh my god, what is happening this match? What is going on? Why is the lowest AC 99.76? This is quarterfinals.
The map should be already pretty hard, like, come on guys. The mini jacks are scary, so scary. Every time I see one of them, I'm scared that one player would miss, but everyone's just holding their ground, and Nisha Labyrinth is leading the charge. That's the reason why Indonesia seems to be ahead right now by even more than before. And into this very last sort of break that you get, we'll see the deciding point at the very least right now. And it's just so little longer that Indonesia has to hold if they want to take this.
But there's no lead, there is no buffer, no mistakes can be afforded right now. And
is this a six-way B1 double S's? I think Duskia just hit a 200 over there, but otherwise, every player is destroying this. And the lead just extends off of the accuracy drops from Duskia here. And Indo will just take this. I don't think they just take this. This is a 6-way FC.
Oh my god. What are we seeing? 6-way. How does 2979 lose? That's insane. Oh my god. 992k is the lowest score in this lobby. This is straight up the highest lobby performance I have seen this week.
The lowest score is 992.3. What in the world we just witnessed? Indo, I knew you had it. I knew you had the chance here on Break the Silence, but they really had to tighten the ratios as much as possible. They couldn't afford a singular mistake because this was insanely close. 5,000 points of difference. Every player above the 990,000. That's just not something you can pull out this easily. These players just make it look easy. This is not easy.
That was crazy. That's one of the longest picks in the whole pool as well. I'll add that. To have such a long technical pick with 0 misses, 0 mistakes is just absolutely ridiculous. Indonesia earning their 3rd point there, and Japan now, they've got a tough decision. They've got a really tough decision.
Do you think I would be right if I'm saying that's a team PV for both teams?
You cannot expect that to come out, like, ever. I don't think any team would expect to get 3 full combos like that in a tournament performance.
I mean, not in quarterfinals at least. Like, this is the kind of picks that both teams wanted to avoid, I assume, because they both expected to be very good at it and they didn't know who had the edge. It would come down to chokes. But it seems like Indo had the edge when there are no chokes involved. And I mean, I want to give credits to Albert as well, who, unfortunately had been choking on previous maps and now certainly stepping up for the team, especially in the Rise department, and now into Heaven's Fall. And I do not like this pick by Japan. Oh my goodness.
Oh, but what is a good pick for Japan? What did Japan pick?
I mean, like we said, I think Hybrid 1 was the better pick here, but Heaven's Fall, especially after Break the Silence, you just had a 6-way FC. If we see another 6-way FCs here, which is honestly very, very likely. I wouldn't be surprised if that's the case. Indo would just probably out-accuracy you. This is not the kind of pick you want to make if you're Japan.
Oh my god, this is so tense.
And this song just adds up to the climax. It's so good.
It's another long one as well. 2 minutes and 47 seconds of consistency that they need to be able to hold. Dense LN as well is something that you would think that players are a little bit more comfortable with than the LN1 type of map. In terms of accuracy at least, it is going to come down to whether or not they can hold the combo.
Onta, I'll just ask you one thing. Please check your scroll speed. I assume they were practicing before, so there's no way.
Surely opened a map, in the past few minutes, right?
Right? I want to assume.
Should be fine. Should be fine, surely.
Oh my god. I don't know what's happening. Every time we commentate together, there seems to be an insane match party. I don't know. We should commentate more often, I guess.
Let's go.
Everyone misses on the first no, right?
Yep. 0% for everyone.
I don't even want to talk at this point. I just want to watch.
Okay, here we go. This is Japan's best chance that they are ever going to get in this match to be able to close out the match right now. Indonesia, this is their breakpoint. This is their biggest breakpoint chance as well. And oh my god, look at the initial accuracies. I mean, I know the LN hasn't kicked in just yet, but...
After LN1, the odds for Indo are pretty high. But can they hold their ground? If they get a 3-way FC on this, I think they just win this. That's all that matters. They need to combo.
And right now, the combo... Oh my god, what are these accuracies? We're seeing 99.9 on almost 3 players in the lobby right now, still.
And I'm mostly concerned about the transitions here. Going back and forth between density to no density is the hardest part of this map. Because once you can tunnel vision through these patterns, which are, for the most part, fairly straightforward, you have some hands in between that can trip you off, and that's about it. And I don't see any of these players having much of a difficulty with them, so it's all about transitioning in and out of the streams and into the burst. And that's the main cream of this map. And right now, Japan seems to be the one on the lead, mostly due to Ice Cake and Crew Cake's performances. They are both very well ahead of everyone else in the Indo team. But like I said, you have to be very careful with these transitions. These in and outs are what this map is about, especially at this level when everyone can just accuracy everything.
Ice Cake's score is absurd. That's just crazy accuracy to me. We've seen so far players struggling to get 99.7. That is the lowest score in this lobby right now.
Oh,
Mikasi, big miss there. First one that we're seeing in the last third of the map as well. 99.5% is the accuracy now, and that is also a big ACK lead for Japan. This is their opportunity now.
Oh, this is the golden chance for them. They just need to hold on. There's only a quarter of the song remaining, and there isn't much left on the map. There are some in and outs, but not many of them. I believe there's a couple bursts coming out right now, and that's kind of like the last hope for Indo to recover from this. And I'm looking mostly at 9990, who seems to be spreading his concentration a little bit too. But even still, they are holding their combo, and that's all they need. They don't have to focus on the accuracy anymore. They just need to hold their combo. And Ice Cake is the one to drop the best player on Japan right now, but traded immediately by Nisha Labyrinth, and the hopes are vanishing. Indonesia, as much as they tried, as much as they fought, they will not be able to hold their ground on LN2, and it will be the end of them. 6-3. Japan with a double FC will take the game.
Ice Cake had the highest accuracy, just saying, with the miss. 990k with a miss? Man. Oh man, that is a full team 990k score from Japan, but Bad HD player with the MVP performance. It's just not enough here. Japan taking it 6-3, but a very close affair for Indonesia. They are going to be going down into the losers bracket, and Japan is
That was
going to be
crazy.
advancing. And you know what? Japan is versing, I believe, the opponent next week is going to be USA. I think that's already been decided, hasn't it?
Yep, that is
Oh my
correct.
God.
Yep. Oh my god, indeed. This was such an intense match, and had I not need to hold a key of my keyboard to talk, because I'm using push to talk, I'll be clapping, because that was a match. And Indo and Japan both deserve credit for it. They both played out of their minds in so many picks, and it all comes down to LN1, I think. At this point, that was the map that decided the fate of this matchup completely, because had Indo won that, Japan was just out of picks. It was just Indo picking Rise and Rise and Rise.
That was such a pivotal point of the match, and 2,000 points, think back on it. That could have been it, but fortunately for Japan, they managed to get through it. But despite that match being over, stay tuned, because it is now right on the hour, and it's time to go right back into it again. Philippines versus Brazil is coming up now. Don't go anywhere, because we're going to be seeing this one, and I believe we're having a bit of a commentator switch in the meantime as well. Thank you, Juan Crystal.
Oh, that was lovely, man. As always, I'll be watching the match from the chat this time around, and I mean, I don't want to be biased. I'm not going to say which team I want to win, but everyone should know.
Okay.
Totally not South American bias. But hey, I just want a good match, honestly. And the Philippine boys are really, really good, so we'll see. It's an exciting match for sure.
Okay, and now joining me in the commentary booth here is going to be Mifa. How are you doing, Mifa?
Doing absolutely fantastic. That match was a nail-biter. That is for sure. Japan versus Indonesia. They come in clutch for basically all of these players. The performance are crazy.
That was absolutely insane. And now we're going to get another 2 extremely high seeds. This is Philippines, seed number 4 versus Brazil, seed number 5, who are in the winner's bracket as well. We're going to see how good these teams are at this stage. And we know that Philippines is one of those exceptionally strong teams on paper. You look at their roster, you're just terrified. But at the same time, Brazil, despite, looking weaker compared to previous years, they have been actually performing ridiculously well in the past 2 rounds.
Yeah, absolutely. I have high expectations for this match because there are some. I believe the insider info says that there was a little bit of difficulties because they are playing on the both sides of the world, basically. It's just hard to adjust the time schedule for both of these teams, and I feel like this is probably the best that they could do.
It's a very difficult one to schedule between the Asian time zones and the South American time zones for sure. But here we are. Hopefully, the time is not too bad for either of these. I believe Brazil is playing fairly early, where Philippines are playing a lot later than they would like to. So I guess both teams may be at somewhat of a disadvantage. Hopefully it cancels out a little bit, but here we go. Rolls coming in. Oh my god, that's cool.
Oh my god. those points. That's 2 points. Alright, that's probably going to tell us probably how close the differences are between the 2 teams.
Yeah, okay, so Brazil wins by 2 points there.
Oh boy.
What I'm really interested in is how are the SV maps going to be? Because I don't see any team protecting it. I also don't know if any team are going to ban it, because these 2 teams are some of the best SV teams in the whole tournament. Like, we were talking earlier about teams that could potentially beat Japan if they manage to make a big choke on an SV map. I think these 2 teams are the 2 teams to look out for when it comes to SV.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Next to Japan, SV team is if you contest 3 SVSC champions, that's a tall order to beat.
Absolutely. I mean, we saw Brazil hold up like a 994, 995k average on one of the SV maps last week. So they are definitely capable. In Brazil, we know they have the SV players. but it is going to be Rice 4 being the protect for Brazil, actually.
And Rice 3, Edison. Ooh, Edison protect for Philippines.
Wait, what? Hang on. I'm looking down Brazil's team, Brazil's performances. I think Brazil have an insanely strong LN roster. I'm interested to see, you know, what their Break the Silence scores are like for them to be protecting it. I think that sounds fairly wild, but I guess we'll find out where the bans go. Maybe both teams end up banning. Okay, no.
Wait, what? Philippines banning Nissimo? I mean, that's fair enough for Brazil to not be picking that. But Brazil banning probably, I don't know, like hybrid or SV or something like that.
Yeah, maybe Philippines just not feeling that they can consistently combo through Nisimono would make a bit of sense there. And SV is going to be the ban, so Brazil don't want to be going to the SV1 at least. But that said, that doesn't really mean much for Cyber Thunder, which is a very different map.
Seems like Philippines doesn't really feel happy about that.
Yeah, I don't think Cyber Thunder will be picked by either team until the very end of the match, if anything. So that will be left floating in the pool for a long time. I do think it is Brazil's first pick, though.
I like how they are very much prepared for SV1, that they decided to prepare something to make sure they negate the slow jam effect.
Wait. Oh my god, that's what I was wondering what the baseball okay, so to like block your vision from the top
exactly.
Of the oh my god, okay.
That's one of the tactics that is commonly used to negate the slow jam effect, so you just don't really see the nodes coming in at much slower pace.
Yeah, advanced SV tactics. That, unfortunately, we're not going to be able to see from the Philippines. It is going to be Brazil picking Calculator first. This has been a fairly popular one to pick early on in some matches that we've seen. A hybrid pick that is very short and very chokeable at that.
I think this is one of the hybrids that I feel that this is the most chokeable, yeah, but in the sense that it's also very risky to pick this early on in the match.
Yeah, Fola's mapping style I would always kind of describe as wacky. It's a bit of a wacky, wacky style. Very technical, very hard to get good accuracy on as well because of some of the snaps that are involved and some of those LN patterns in particular. So we'll see how the players fare. We're getting a lot of switch arounds here.
It seems like April is joining for the Philippines, and the other two players from Brazil would be likely just be anyone. Probably Silly Fangirl or Nate in this case.
Demi-Fiend, of course, has been one of the best performers on the entire Brazil team so far in the tournament. The Marcinho as well. And Silly Fangirl for Team Philippines. April for Brazil.
Oh, for Brazil. Yeah, there you go.
Okay, these are some terrifying names we're seeing. Apol, of course, being the extremely accurate LN player of the Philippines team.
The extreme LN specialist for the Philippines, outside of maybe the other 5 players who are also specialists.
But that said, you know, if you talk about extreme accuracy in LNs, we do have Demi-Fiend also in the lobby. I think this is going to be a very interesting one to see exactly where the accuracies really line up.
Alright, seeing the MP command start right in, and we were probably jumping in for the first map being Calculator, the wackiest hybrid in existence to ever actually grace in quarterfinals. There we go, we've seen reverse shield already.
Miss.
Maybe it was a miss.
Oh,
yep, there you go.
It was actually a miss. Sleep Vanguard very early on in the map. That's going to give... Wait. Why isn't the... Wait. Oh, Apol's accuracy. Hang on. That's why. I was like, why is the lead still in Brazil? Apol actually with a very bad start, actually getting a miss of their own. So both Silly Fangirl and Apol finding early misses there, and that gives the lead over to Brazil because of the accuracy.
Yeah, the wackier LN releases tied with some, I don't know, well, graces in some between too. The lead is still pretty much nothing, even after those two misses at the very start. And
7-Ken.
Ooh, actually the first miss after the intro miss from Apol.
Yeah, and that is a very big act drop as well, down to 99.4. 7-Ken had one of the higher accuracies on Team Philippines before that. And now there is no one contesting, or Demi-Fiend actually finding a bit of an act drop, but not going to be too serious as long as Brazil keep the combos now. 7-Ken with another miss.
Oh, wow. The miss of it, the accuracy wasn't doing too hot either for 7-Ken. There's some act drops along the way after that miss.
Right now it looks like Demi-Fiend and Marcinho, the two highest accuracies in the whole lobby. That's giving them a very strong act lead overall. And of course, 2 FCs versus the 1 FC from Siluesca Els on Philippines.
Already a 30,000 point lead. 20,000-ish. I would assume so because the lead is this is the wackier side.
But this is a bit of a speed up, but even with chokes, it doesn't feel like there's going to be enough time to make back 23,000 points of lead, even if there were misses at the end. And it's going to be a very strong first point for Brazil on their own pick. We may as well call that 3 FCs there for them. 995k for Demi-Fiend.
Jeez, okay. Apol without the miss, that would have been just beating out Le Marcinho by a slim margin.
Yeah, absolutely. We can see the accuracy is definitely there for the Philippines, but just the misses coming in, not helping them out. And Brazil, a very nice first point for them, the first pick going as they would have liked. And now Philippines, they get to decide where they want to go for. And I wonder, they have a ridiculously well-rounded roster, but I would assume that they would want to go for more of, maybe some of the Rice picks, maybe some of the... I don't know if you really want to go towards the LN picks.
And I don't know if they want to go with the Protect either this early on, because they protected Edison for racial reasons.
Edison I don't like as a first pick for anyone. I think if Philippines are first picking Edison, I think that just means that they're out of picks. Already.
This SV is viable for Philippines right now.
SV is definitely a potential, but the thing I'm just really scared because I know Brazil can play the SV well as well. So I don't think Philippines should be too confident picking SV, especially early on. You don't want to go 2-0 down. That's going to completely break the morale for the team. So I think Philippines, they want their most comfortable, their most confident map to be picked first, so that they can try. Interesting pick here, but they would know their own scores better than I do, I guess. And with 2 teams that are so well-rounded overall, I would say, it really does come down to individual patterns, individual comfort levels.
Seems like an oddball to me that picking Bakamitai while also banning Nisimono, because that's just how the stream speedier dumb stream that is.
Yeah, it is kind of interesting how the pick bans have played out in the end, but makes a bit of sense. We are seeing 2 players switching in for the Philippines. Volpsy and Boji, of course, both very, very strong Rice players. And we're actually seeing... Are we seeing Demi-Fiend switch out for Brazil?
Yeah, wondering what the third player is gonna be for Brazil. I know, in the past, like last year, you would have seen like the actual 3 players from Brazil, but unfortunately, Brazil hasn't been like stronger now in like the third player, and I think like Demi-Fiend is probably gonna take up the hat for Brazil now.
Yeah, Brazil Of course, we do say that they are relatively weaker in Rice compared to last year, but that's not really saying much because last year they had just absurd Rice team. They are still very strong this year, so Philippines, I don't think they can afford too many mistakes in this one, but on paper, you would probably give them the ratio advantage when it comes to the Rice maps.
Alright, seems we're up and ready for both teams. Hopefully there's no other issues on switching out for players, I feel.
Yep, here we go. And the one thing that I am concerned about here for both teams is that it's a very short pick as well. Just like we saw on Calculator, this one, 1 minute and 50 seconds. Single misses are going to mean a whole lot in terms of the score, especially because I don't expect the Ackley to be that big either way.
Well, I mean, it seems like they're leveled up in accuracy. 7K and Delphine seems to be in close proximity in between each other.
When it's tied just between the two teams so far, Boji is the outlier here at 99.96.
How do you even act like downstream like this quick? I mean, this is not even the hardest, so I'm not too concerned by it.
Yeah, it is still relatively calm compared to the last part of the map, but still plenty of places to be choking on, so no player can afford to let up their concentration at all. So far, it actually looks like Brazil has a little bit of an accuracy lead.
Yeah, just averaging 99.9 for Brazil, completely just rising up their accuracies.
This is a crazy advantage for Brazil. 99.9, as you said, that's the average. And Volpsy and 7Can still not far behind. Here we go, this is the main section. If there's any mistakes now, that will determine the lead. Silly Fangirl with a 200, it looks like La Marcinho as well. But Volpsy drops a
has
little
a
bit of
200,
accuracy.
yeah. There's no lead still up until this last quarter. That's concerning.
1,000 points. Boji actually dropping the accuracy a little bit, but so do all the Brazilian players dropping a little bit. It just looks like Philippines are also dropping at the same time, so it looks like the lead is still 2,000 points in favor of Brazil, but Las Marcinho finds a miss! The worst possible time at the very end of the map. Now this is a lead for the Philippines. They just need to hold on to the combo.
And that is it. That is the only section that is just pretty much calm.
Oh,
and then steal it in the end. And Philippines still takes their own point, but man, that would have been a different story if Brazil kept up the composure there.
Oh, 2 score V1 versus the Philippines. That's 74. What
That's also 2 V1SS. That's also 2 V1SS for Brazil.
Oh, but 4 V1SSs, 2 100s for Volpsy. Oh my god. Overall, on average, Brazil, they have the AC advantage. That is scary. That is so scary for Philippines going forward into this match. But they managed to take their first point. It is 1-1, so at the end of the day, no harm done either way.
If this tournament was on 2v2, I feel like Philippines won on 300s. If you take the 2 best scores.
Oh, it is just so hard. Yeah, Brazil acting as a unit there. All 3 of their players had such similar accuracies. They were all so high as well.
Wait, what? Devifin picking Flower or the SV?
Wait, no, Demifin meant Bakami Tai was SV. What? Oh, huh? Okay, whatever.
Okay,
I don't understand. But anyway, Bloomin is going to be the pick. Hybrids are going to be the avenue attack still for Brazil here. They did very well on Calculator, so we'll see if that can stick with Bloomin. I do expect slightly different rosters to come out here, though. As we can see, Philippines, Boji is staying in, but Silueska L's coming in as a very strong hybrid player as well for the Philippines. Same 3 for Brazil, staying in for all 3 maps so far, it looks like.
Yeah, it seems like no A-pole for Philippines, understandably so. This is a little bit on the denser side for hybrid, but they're straightforward. So I feel like this would have been Boji's stronger points for hybrids.
Yeah, for sure. More straightforward as in the LN snapping, as you said, means that there are a lot of players on the Philippines who may be more comfortable with getting good accuracy. And I mean, combo is going to be really important as well. We've seen combo being the deciding factor in both maps so far. So you are going to need to aim for the FC for all players if you want to be able to have a strong lead for either team.
The intro, just 3-column inverses intel mapping, basically.
Yeah, and 7ken having a bit of a rough time compared to the other players, dropping down to 99.4, but is going to manage to build up the accuracy a little bit. Demifiend and Boji and Silly Fangirl actually dropping a little bit as well. So L's actually with the highest accuracy right now, and that's keeping things pretty much tied up.
Yeah, interestingly enough, no one is above 99.8 after that intro, but I mean, they're quickly put things back up.
Yeah, Ak rising quickly for all the players, but 7ken's still lagging behind a little bit now, so it is Brazil starting to edge out a bit of a lead. Still the first third of the map, though. And we saw what just happened
720 points.
Oh my god. Oh my god, Demifiend almost finding a miss there. That was a 50.
That's quite fatal. 72 points.
Oh my god, 72 points this lead. Oh, it's still the same.
It's still reaching to the last. We're still reaching the third point. Boji double 200 on the Ellen release.
Oh, the lead is negligible.
There's still no 200 points.
It's all coming down to this last third of the map. Lead is non-existent.
LZ drop a 200. I saw that 200 right at the mini jack.
And I think
no one on Brazil seemed to choke.
It's coming down to 7ken right now. 7ken's accuracy is just not quite as high as all the players on Brazil. But it's still so close. It's still so close. Boji's accuracy now going up above 99.8 as well, but that's a miss! It's going to decide it. It's at the very end of the map, unless there's a trade really soon. That looks like that might be the deciding factor in this map.
Oh, they're running out of time here. Brazil is probably going to take this now.
And such an unfortunate timing for that miss. It is impossible to tell where that was going to go if there was no miss, but at the end of the day, Brazil are going to take their second point. It has been 3 points in a row. No break points for either team, but it feels like it very well could have been 3 break points in a row.
Siluesca, Elze, and Lamarchinho is 300 point difference. Literally 20
Look at
points.
Boji's act as well. If you remove Boji's 50, then all 3 of them have almost identical scores.
It's crazy to think that this is a very high caliber of players. I mean, literally going 990s.
And now this is a lead for Brazil. They're staying on top of things just barely. And Philippines, what do you pick? What do Philippines pick? I don't think Bakumitai was a very good pick for them. Just in hindsight, you look at the performances, you look at the scores, and I think, honestly, as a Philippines team, you're scared.
It's not a very strong pick for Philippines, but a win is a win at the end of the day.
I mean, I feel like Philippines, they have the ability to win on every map, almost.
Oh my god, Gypsophila.
Oh, this is going to be tight. This is going to be insane as well.
This is a question mark for me.
I mean, they won on Bakumitai. You can't deny that one. A win is a win, like you said. If Philippines manage to hold on to the 3 full combos, anything is really possible in this one. But it does feel like Brazil's accuracy has just been so on point so far this match. If they keep it up, then the accuracy battle is going to be so hard for Philippines to win, which is crazy to say.
This is just the exact stream pick for, above all accounts, this is the more consistent one. Not too complicated on the snaps. These are just straight up 332 BPM or somewhere around that.
Let's see how this goes. We are getting the Rice roster back in for the Philippines, so Volpsy switching back in. And the same 3 players once again for Brazil. I mean, they've been performing out of their mind as well, so makes a lot of sense to keep them in. We'll see how this one works out for Philippines, I feel like this could be a potential for Brazil to win a breakpoint back.
Volpsy with a mirror here, just to remove the motions altogether. Just a fresh muscle memory, because I think that's what happened in Japan, picking two mirrors at once. All 100% on the bottom row.
Yeah. Nice and calm intro section, nothing really to talk about here. Not too big of a deal even if you drop your 100% here, because it's just going to be like, what, 1/300? And here we go into the streams. The speed is picking up now, and oh my god, Volpsy with an early miss. Down to 99.4.
That's also quite bad for Volpsy to drop here right now. I think there's a 200 after that miss too. And even still before the 400 combo count, it's still pretty fatal.
Look at the accuracies overall in Brazil. The lowest AC right now is 99.82. Two very extreme accuracies on their side as well in Lamarcinho and Demi-Fiend, but Boji trying his best, 99.97, topping the lobby in the accuracy once again, but it is a 9,000 point lead because of the miss earlier, because of the AC lead. And Philippines, they need a miss to come from Brazil.
We're reaching to the last third of the chart, and this is just all streams.
Is going to be the combo. Volpsy is increasing the AC back up, 99.7, very strong accuracy now. Any miss has to come now as soon as possible for Philippines, or it's just going to be too late to come back.
No one's still having... Okay, there's a... Oh, Volpsy! The second drop there.
Second drop from Volpsy, that basically decides the point. It's looking like a break point for Brazil, as long as they just manage to hold on to the combos. Even if they miss, I think they can afford it.
Also, yeah, with the miss coming from Volpsy twice, actually. No one has been missing so far in the stream pick. And these average of scores are 992 on average on this lobby.
2986, three-way SS for Brazil. 5?
Oh my god.
5 SSs? My god.
That's all. The outlier is literally there. The consistency for Brazil is still unmatched for a three-way V1SS.
This is terrifying from Brazil. I don't think Philippines want to be going for rice. I straight up think that they need to try something different a little bit here. Brazil now in the lead. They have won one breakpoint. They're 3-1 up, and they get the next pick as well.
Yeah, this is a bad situation for Philippines to be in right now. I do think they're a little bit shaken by it. Hopefully they're gonna pick back up soon if Philippines decide to win the breakpoint.
Oh, look at that pick.
My god.
Oh, look at that pick.
Oh my god.
Oh, look at that pick.
That's bold for Brazil coming up with with Cyber Thunder Cider.
Brazil banning Sample Ensemble, picking Cyber Thunder. I don't think Brazil had to do this. I think this is risky. I think this is so risky. After winning a breakpoint, the first breakpoint of the match, what Brazil really should be doing is solidifying this lead. They want to go 4-1 up to make it really hard for Philippines to come back, but I'm scared. Look at who we have subbing in. Cub from the Philippines is such a strong SV player. We know the Philippines, they seeded number 2 behind Japan on stage 1.
I don't think that this is necessary for Brazil to be playing it risky right now. If they are one breakpoint up.
Brazil are strong. That's undeniable. I think Brazil are definitely comfortable with this map. I just don't know how they can be so confident picking this into a team like the Philippines. This should be like a last-ditch, last chance kind of pick when all else is lost, but when you're up, when you have the first lead that we've seen in the match, this is such a risky time to be picking it.
I mean, I know they have been like 1 point up, but I just think that they need to be playing it safe. In either case, this pick doesn't really make any sense, actually. I mean, if they're confident, they're just gonna go with it, right? That's just how it is for every performance for all of the teams. If they're confident, they're just gonna go with it. I think that's just their mind games on it now.
Yeah, we'll see what ends up happening here, how these players perform, because this is also a very hard one to perform in under pressure. And definitely the pressure right now, you have to say, is on the Philippines more than the Brazil side.
LZ, please, come on. Okay, yeah. Oh boy.
Oh my god, look at the accuracies. There's 5 players on 99.9 right now. Lamarcinho is on 99.87, and that's why Philippines have the advantage.
I think this is also the first time I've seen Nate playing as Vs after such a long time.
But it's the smallest lead here. The first slow jam section is gone. No one drops any accuracy. Here's the second part of the gimmicks. We'll see if there's any misses. Oh, Demi-Fiend finds a little bit of accuracy. Silly fangirl.
My cup also actually dropped out quite a lethal 200s.
But bigger act drops from Brazil overall. Silly Fangirl drops down to 99.4. So Cubs still beating Silly Fangirl in the 1-to-1. Apol and L's still above both other players on Brazil. That's a 3,000, 4,000 point lead now.
Cup is rapidly gaining after that 99.3.
Oh my god, here. This is the slow jam section. This is where we're going to see some chokes potentially.
All 99.9s across Philippines, and the only outlier here is like the lowest 2 scores from this lobby. The ghost house, please, come on, don't do this to me,
Oh,
Cup.
don't. Here we go. Okay. No one breaks anything on the slow jam section. Now we're back into here. Apol actually with the 200s.
Apol!
99.75 now, but still a little bit of an act lead overall for the Philippines. Cub manages to make it back up to 99.7, but Silly Fangirl is still behind everyone else. That's making the difference here. Els drops a little bit of accuracy now, matching Demi-Fiend. Oh, but a miss!
No, I already missed that shit.
And that is going to be a huge lead for Philippines. All they need to do now is keep the combo. Act does not matter anymore. Philippines have the act advantage, but it's all in the combo now. And they're towards the very end of the map. There's only one section after this now. Bit of a slow jam.
Cup is actually racing against the other 2 Philippines, and now he's already on the highest, almost the highest act now.
Cub has to have one of the highest ratios for sure. Coming back from 99.4 at one point to be able to get to 99.77 is just a monstrous comeback in accuracy. And now we're at the very end of the map. This is the last part. As long as there's no misses, this is looking like another breakpoint on the cards.
Yeah, this seems to be the case. The breakpoint that Philippines needed.
And this is why I hated this pick from Brazil. You have thrown away your your momentum. The breakpoint is gone. This is tied up again. God. And Brazil do not capitalize on any lead. They have not sustained anything. It is going to be Philippines with a 3-way FC. Crazy scores from both teams, though. Without that one miss, this would have been insanely close.
And just like that, Cobb actually with a fatal mistake on the 100 actually is now actually getting the highest accuracy on Philippines, just racing back up.
So let's see now.
Has decided to relieve.
Yeah, they're back in this. Philippines absolutely could tie it up right now, but the problem is, what do Philippines pick? Because Brazil has looked terrifying in everything. Is LN the play? We have not seen LN.
We have not seen LN, but they have some LNs on the hybrid, but that doesn't really say much.
Yeah, definitely not.
Oh, Astra. Oh. Okay, they're going with Astra all through. Okay, we're now venturing into the LN world.
So it is going to be the LN, the coordination pick coming out for Philippines. We know both teams have very strong LN players, but maybe this one ends up working out better for Philippines. At least that's what they hope here, compared to some of the Rise maps that we've seen so far. And they're going to need to win this if they want to take it back to 3-3.
And I'm already seeing Apol and Scales and probably 7Ken playing for the Philippines. This would have been a tight spot for them.
Oh no, it's going to be Cub.
Oh,
if you look in the chat there, Cub is staying in for this one. I do believe Cub played in some of the LN picks for the qualifiers, so definitely a very strong player. Well-rounded, not just the SV1 trick that perhaps may have been thought.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we're going to see Brazil swapping in some players as well. I do expect, I mean, Demi Fiend is a must for Brazil here.
Yeah, Demi is a must. Yeah, it's just a crucial player for Brazil right now for LNs.
And I assume they also keep Silly Fangirl in. Silly Fangirl has been playing very well overall so far in the match.
Okay, Demi is now coming back in from the lobby.
Okay, just still waiting a little bit for the players to get settled now. This is very tense, this situation. Oh man.
Yeah, if Philippines does win on this pick, they're now level. They will be leveled. It's basically a best of what, 5.
Oh, but it's a tough ask even just winning this pick, I think, against Brazil. This is a team that's looking so consistent. So we'll see who their third player is. It's going to be Silly Fangirl coming back.
This is a high stake. This is a high stake pick for literally this lobby because one mistake on the LN pick, and if Brazil takes a break point, then the other LN picks might have gone sour actually.
And we've seen how unpredictable this can be just in the previous match as well. If you were around Japan versus Indonesia, that came down to the wire. Individual misses, individual tiny mistakes at the very end of the map. It's a very risky one overall.
All right. Here we go. We've seen the first LN pick that might have been quite the decider actually.
Okay, let's see. This is a really tense one here. Yeah, just a bit of climb there. No misses for the first one.
Yeah, thankfully no misses like last time.
And let's see, all very close.
Demi with 99.95 in the intro. Sure thing.
This is not a map what you ratio, surely. You can't get high ratios on a map like this, but despite Demi Fiend's best efforts, there's an ACK lead so far for the Philippines at least, while Marcinho dropping a little bit down to 99.5.
Cup also does find a bit of a struggle in maintaining rainbows all the way through.
Still 99.6 keeping up with Silly Fangirl, so they are matching each other. And now the Marcinho drop is a little bit more down to 99.3.
Cup also dropping below 99.6. It's trying to... Oh! Okay, sure, dude.
But
actually, Nate leveled up.
Yeah, okay, a miss from Cub, immediately traded, and the accuracies are still very similar between Cub and Silly Fangirl. So the Marcinho with the ACK drop is going to give the lead over to Philippines, despite Demi Fiend having the highest ACK in the lobby. I don't know how you are keeping 99.9 still at the halfway mark.
If you look at closer to Marcinho is releasing very late, actually. It might have costed it the accuracy lead now.
Oh, I'm wondering if it's a scroll speed after the SV pick.
It's releasing very late now. Below 99.2 actually now, almost.
Yeah, now still Philippines with 2 players above 99.8. Brazil only with the 1. And Silly Fangirl and Cub both matching each other once again.
consistent 99.8 for Philippines. That would have been like so close if Marcinho actually grounded is actually his best efforts on accuracy. But I feel like this is a one miss from Philippines. Could have stayed the same actually.
Yeah, now 15,000 point lead. Demi Fiend. Oh, that's the biggest score for Brazil. Finding a miss towards the end.
992k even with the miss at the very end. That's crazy.
And
wow! V1. Oh, that's almost the V1 SS.
Oh my god. No, Siloeska Els with the V1 SS as well. Demi Fiend almost getting it with absurd ratio as well. 2 times better than the next best, it feels like almost. And
Marcinho. Oh my god.
Yeah, I was gonna say Marcinho definitely had something going on with the client there. I suspected scroll speed, but it turns out being on a slightly different setting than they used to. So that is an unfortunate way to go out, but still a very strong performance from Philippines. It's now tied 3-3, and I wonder if now it's Philippines going to be going for the LNs later on.
Yeah, Brazil is staying on the hybrid now.
Okay, very rare that we see one team picking the whole hybrid pool.
Actually, yeah.
But here we go. This one is a very different hybrid than what we've seen so far. This one very Jack heavy, very choke heavy. LNs and Jacks combined, the worst nightmare of some players.
I might have been wondering if this is still within like Philippines roster to making sure that they still pick the same team members, because we've seen Boji on Bloomin. I don't know if they're gonna do that here.
Oh, here comes Boji.
All right, there you go. No Cub. Switch out by Boji.
It's fairly good. I think fairly good roster here for Philippines as well. This one, it has come down, so many matches we've seen, this map has come down to the combo. Which team will combo break? And I think you really do want to be putting your really physically capable players in for this one so that they can keep the combo consistent throughout the whole map, not mess up too bad, not find any uncomfortable sections. So it makes sense that we're seeing Boji.
Yeah, hopefully Marcinho has sorted this issue up for his settings, so we'll see how it goes.
It definitely should have by now, so there shouldn't be any issues for any of the players anymore as far as the client is concerned. And this one, once again, tied up. This is now Brazil's pick. They're looking to keep it in front at 4-3 if they manage to win this one.
Not sure if the intro seems to be favoring 7 Ken, but nothing too serious about that.
Yeah, it's not too big of a deal, all things considered. 99.78 is still a very strong accuracy for 7 Ken. But my god, Brazil, that's a very good start. 99.9 across all 3 players.
All 3, yeah.
No one on Philippines holding that level of accuracy, but there's no way it lasts, right? Should definitely fall off, yeah. Demi Fiend dropping down to 99.7, actually matching 7 Ken now. So this lead is shrunk quite a lot now, and here we are into the main meat of the chart, the main Jack section here. Everyone holding on fairly well so far. A little bit of act drop, and oh my god, it's flickering back and forth just a little bit.
It's anybody's game, basically.
Oh, and 7 Ken finds the first miss. That's down to 99.5 now, and it's going to give Brazil immediately a lead here.
Still not over yet. This is the last third.
Still 3 full combos on Brazil now. It's the combo game. If Brazil manages to hold their combos through the whole map, they can take this point. But
these transitions are rude.
These are rough. This is a really hard section to be able to combo through. Accuracies overall, actually Brazil now in front. Boji and Siloeska Els dropping in the accuracy down below the 99.8. Well, Marcinho, the best in the lobby right now, 99.84.
Yeah, 9.84. Yeah, ow. That's none of the Philippines had a 99.8 at all, basically. They just all matching up to like the 2 lowest scores from Brazil.
Oh my god, and this is the end of the map now. Brazil showing this consistency once again. This is another 3-way FC.
2981. Brazil are now back in front with a V1 SS from Marcinho.
That is a crazy score from Marcinho. 99.84. Demi-Fiend not far behind, but with just the 5 200s. And just the one miss decided to actually, you know, even without the miss coming out from Philippines, this accuracy from Brazil is so ridiculously high. I don't think Philippines could have taken this. And it's going to end up being another really good pick from Brazil, 4-3.
April's coming back in from Philippines, and I wonder if LN3 is going to come back up.
I don't know about LN3.
Heaven's Fall, alright.
Yeah, I don't know about the Jackson LN3. That feels a little bit too risky here, but Heaven's Fall is going to be the pick, a little bit more consistent as far as that goes, the density pick here. And oh, it is going to be tight once again because, you know, Philippines did win LN1 fairly convincingly, but you have to kind of put an asterisk on that because, I mean, look at the difference in Lamarcinho's act between the past 2 maps. It's like night and day, and if Lamarcinho keeps playing like he did just then, this is scary. This is on.
Yeah, the pressure is now on, actually, for Philippines, because this is a crucial point to make. Because if Philippines lose this, Brazil is on match point.
Oh, and it's so risky to be the team that is forced to win the pick at the end of the day. Philippines, they have to win this one. There is no 2 ways about it.
And I think at this point, it really comes down to actually not combo breaking. Because I think that's the theme for this entire matchup. And Marcinho is literally, putting their gloves off for this.
Okay, full screen mode.
I mean, if it's gonna help, then sure. But man, it's literally like what, 3 picks left to make.
Okay, let's see how it goes now. Very important point here in the match. I mean, every pick really is that important.
Interestingly enough, they haven't picked their protect, so I just assume that it's probably just a bluff.
I mean, 2 Rice maps being protected, and both teams have kind of gone away from picking Rice very quickly. Okay, here we go. This is a fairly long one, so it's going to come down to the consistency, whether or not they can keep the combo and keep up the high accuracy. We know both teams have shown the ability. But so
ability,
far,
oh my god, the ability to get 99.9 above on the intro is just, I don't know what to say.
It's such impressive sharpshooting from every single individual as well. But here we go,
right.
Now's the LNs, now the act drops.
All eyes on 200s, literally. Although Nate has taken a bit of a drop, the first drop actually.
Yeah, so they can go down to 99.75. That's going to give a small lead to Philippines. Not really much to speak of. It's actually flickering back and forth here. As Silueska, Els, and Cub don't really drop too much in accuracy, but it seems to be enough to kind of give a little bit of inroads to Brazil.
April is trying their hardest to negate Demi-Fiend's accuracy.
Oh, Demi-Fiend actually dropping a couple 200s there, dropping now, matching April. Both of those 2 players cancelling each other out. It's coming down to the second and third.
800 points.
Silueska Els actually dropping down to below 99.7, now below Silly Fangirl. That's giving Brazil a little bit of a lead. We're halfway through the map, still 6 FCs.
Still 6 FCs. Look at that point difference. It's literally below the thousands.
And oh my god.
Oh my god.
Cobb
No,
finds the first
Cobb.
miss at the very start of that second half. And that's going to be an instant lead towards Brazil. It wasn't too big of an accuracy drop at the very least, but it is going to mean that Philippines require Brazil to miss once again. Another one of these situations. And Brazil, they have just not been missing so far in the match.
It's just very crazy to... Dude, actually, Brazil's still staying on.
I don't know how you can be so consistent FCing so many maps in a row. But it's looking like this is now an accuracy lead in Brazil's favor as well. Silly Fangirl keeping steady at that 99.7.
Final stretch of the LN jump streams.
There's still a small chance, but the time is running out so quickly for the Philippines. And it's looking like Brazil might just take this point here and now.
And that is it. There is no other material in this chart. And Brazil is now on match point, 5-3 now.
Oh my god, Brazil getting on match point, looking to take out Philippines from the winner's bracket if they manage to win one more. Philippines, they have to win the next 2 picks.
How do you get 16-1 ratio on an LN jump stream like this, Debbie? Come on, man. That's just illegal.
16-1. Everyone out here just trying to keep their combo. Demi-Fiend worried about getting regular 300s.
That's just not right. And still, the protects are all still up there. There's no more hybrids. There's only one LN, and I don't think Brazil's gonna go with that. There's only 3 rice picks.
Oh, what does Brazil pick though? They're out of hybrids. There's no hybrids. There's no SVs. They're gonna have to pick something different. Maybe they go for LN3. After all that's happened, Brazil did have a very strong performance on Upload Your Mind and also Heaven's Fall just there.
This is hard. This is just a hard pick to make for Brazil, actually, given the protects are still up there.
just says, I don't know.
Oh no.
Brazil, when asked what to pick, just responds, I don't know.
I think no one's gonna pick Jump Straight, or at least Cosmos Station in this case. Okay, they're going for Protect now, I think.
Break the silence, yeah. Oh my god, this is going to be a fairly risky one, but you know, looking at the match so far, it does seem like Brazil, they have the consistency, they have the combo to be able to make it through such a long technical map like this. And it's up to Philippines now to prove that they can as well. They have to come away with some FCs in this one. Cannot be affording misses from either side, really.
And again, I restated this before. If Philippines does win this, they would have to go with Edison. I don't think there's any other way.
Oh my god, that is gonna be so ridiculously tight if it gets to that. Edison as the decider, but they have to win this to even get an opportunity. And here it is, it's Boji coming in, of course, for the rice pick.
I'm just concerned on how this matchup is gonna be. The chunks have been unpredictable. It has been the case for this matchup. Okay, this is high stakes, and this is Brazil's Protect. So if Brazil does lose this, they don't have any more picks to make, and Philippines is gonna have to think twice or thrice, really.
Yeah, I mean, this, no matter what happens, this is Brazil's last pick. So this is their last pick. They're choosing to pick Break the Silence. This is their Protect. So you have to imagine they're fairly comfortable on it. But anything could really happen on a map like this, right? It's so hard to imagine a team being comfortable with getting 3-way FCs every time. Surely there's going to be a break, right?
I just don't wish for any breaks in this, but still, you don't want to get heart attacks. Alright, we're starting off with the client error, but hopefully should be okay. Doesn't seem like 7 candidates on the client.
7K. Oh, here we go.
Okay, seems
Just gonna
we're
have
gonna.
to wait for it to sync up. Demi-Fiend? No, okay, Demi-Fiend. Actually, with lower accuracy, that is real, I think. 99.4.
I'm so confused.
Hang on, what's going on now? How is Brazil in the lead? It looks like Philippines have the higher accuracy overall. 7Ken matching Demi-Fiend. Volpsy outperforming Masino, and Boji outperforming Silly Fangirl, so it looks like Philippines should have the lead, I think. I'm not sure what's going on with the client. Oh, there's a miss! Oh my god, what am I doing?
Oh my god. I mean, yeah, for 7 can miss early on, but I don't know because the accuracies are level for Brazil. Oh, there's a 200 no 3 no jack.
Yeah, it actually looks like the accuracies are very close between the two teams, but the miss from 7Ken, I missed that completely just because of the client messing up before, but yeah, it is Brazil in the very small lead, but that said, accuracy in favor of Philippines means that any mistake, any miss from Brazil means that this lead goes straight back to the Philippines.
Tough situation to be in with a 3,000 point lead this far in, even though with how, I don't know, backloaded this chart is? Because that's how the material in this chart goes.
Yeah, I mean, now looking at it, it looks like Demi-Fiend also had an early miss, but in the first like 10 notes, 10, 15 notes of the map. So it doesn't matter quite as much as 7Ken's miss was, which was, you know, closer to that 400 combo mark.
Miss has to come out now from Brazil for Philippines to have a chance now.
Yeah, Philippines getting the accuracy, still building up. No one is matching Boji's accuracy right now. Volpsy is beating out 2 of the players on Brazil, so the accuracy is looking very strong for the Philippines. But yeah, as you said, this lead is not shrinking whatsoever. It's going to need to be a miss.
Needs to be a total slip up from Brazil to take up the score difference right now.
I even think significant accuracy drop might be enough, but I mean, we haven't seen too many of those from Brazil the whole match. And we don't have much time left. There is a quarter of the map left. 4,000 points, not a big lead, but a definite lead for Brazil.
Dude, they're running out of time. There's still only the last quarter remaining.
And here we go, last part. Demi-Fiend's accuracy has shot up so quickly after that bad start. 99.8% now.
Yeah, they're completely running. Oh, damn, Boji with the miss, the second miss from the Philippines.
I think that does it. We're at the end of the map. Boji finding the miss means that this lead from Brazil, they can't lose it now. We're in the outro.
And that is going to be it. I don't think there's any other way for this coach to come back.
And it's going to be 2 FCs from Brazil to close out the match. 6-3. This is a little bit of a seeding upset happening in the winner's bracket. Silly Fangirl with the Scorby1 double S.
With the clutch view on SS coming out as the MVP for this entire pick. It's just really interesting to see how actually the misses really just demolish you.
Absolutely. And now this is going to be the matchup for next week. Brazil is going to continue on into the winners semi-finals. They go into verse South Korea in what is a rematch of last year.
An interesting amount of rematch, I would say.
Oh, definitely. That is going to be a very interesting match to watch out for, especially because of how strong Brazil are performing so far in this tournament. And unfortunately for the Philippines, they are knocked down to the losers bracket. There are so many strong teams down in the losers bracket, so it is going to be tough for them, but still having a chance to make it all the way if they manage to win there. And that, I believe, is going to finish off all of our matches.
Yeah, the entire quarterfinal matches are done and dusted. It's very close on some of the matchups, totally. I think in this particular matchup, it could have gone easily to tiebreaker, but it was not meant to be.
Yeah, we can see some of next week's matchups here. Canada versus Philippines, Thailand versus China, Hong Kong, Indonesia, and Chile, Vietnam are in the losers. Those all all 8 of those teams are ridiculously strong. That is actually insane to see as a lower bracket semi-final. And only 2 of those teams are making it out. That is crazy.
Yeah, I'm just even more scared because these 8 teams are gonna suffer a lot more on the semifinals map pool, which to be happening in 15 minutes, but we get to see the winners bracket is looking very stacked.
Oh my, I am actually very interested in South Korea versus Brazil now. I think if you look at the stats for this round, I don't think there's many teams in the whole tournament that can beat Brazil's scores that they just put up on so many of those maps. And USA versus Japan, another one that's going to be insanely interesting to keep. I'm lost for words right now. After casting those past 2 matches that we've just seen, my mouth is dying a little bit. But yeah, USA versus Japan, Korea versus Brazil, 4 ridiculously strong teams, and we've just got such a high level overall the tournament. But stay tuned, because we are not going to be too long, actually. We're going to have the map pool showcase for the semi-finals coming up in just a little bit once we're ready.
Yeah, I think in about 15 minutes. So it just comes down to whether the remaining 12 teams, I would say 4 on the winners bracket, 8 on the losers bracket, are just gonna have a little fun on the semifinals map pool. It's gonna be relatively rough on the lower seeded teams in particular.
Okay, so I'm going to be seeing that for the first time. I'm excited to see that. So we're going to have a little bit of a break, maybe about 15 minutes. We'll see while we just get things sorted out. In the meantime, thank you all for watching the matches, and we will see you in just a little bit.
Yeah. This has been Mifa and Potassium, and we're now signing off for the day.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Osumania World Cup 2023 4K. We're still here. This afternoon is still going, and we have actually 3 matches at the same time, and we are gonna see one of them. You are probably also watching the other one on the main channel. This is the second channel. We are gonna show you China versus France. I am Pachiraj, representative of France, and I will be with probably not a Chinese representative exactly, but close enough. Ravel, how are you?
Yeah, I mean, I am a Chinese Singaporean, so I guess there is a little bit of a representative going on there. But this is a very interesting conditional match. We have China seed 10 against France seed 18. These 2 countries have met each other 4 times now. Their last match actually being half a decade ago in the 2018 semi-finals, where China won 7-5. So was a close encounter then. It could be a close encounter here.
Yeah, also kind of depends on how each country is feeling today. It is 3 p.m. right now in France, and it is evening in China. Pretty early evening though, so I believe that is a comfortable time situation for them at least. So we are already going into the protects, and France is going to protect SV1.
Yeah, I believe France protected SV1 against the Malaysia. Now, both these teams actually swept their respective matches. France against Malaysia, China against the Russian Federation. And both teams actually protected SV1. So, funnily enough, both teams will probably go head-to-head on Sampo Ensemble, my bad.
Yeah.
Which will be a very interesting watch.
Yeah, actually, this match is already interesting from the get-go, from the roles even, because since both countries protected SV1, the first to protect is already revealing their cards first. So France going with SV1 still is definitely a statement. China's going to respond with protective LN3, not a very common one, mind you.
Yeah, Ironies. I mean, this one we don't really see often get played. In fact, we see it more often than not get banned. So China probably pulling something up their sleeves. I mean, their LN ability in this map pool is pretty good. China and France both played LN 1 and LN 2, and China have better scores in both maps.
Yeah, definitely something to consider, and I believe France is also considering their strategies here. The ban on the rice one is going to come from China, so China definitely afraid of physicality potentially, and also doesn't feel necessarily confident in terms of physicality versus France. France definitely has some late game elements in their team this year.
Yeah, France will probably be opting to ban either Astra Walkthrough or Heaven's Fall, one of the two LNs still open to ban.
Yeah, just waiting for their cue, and I do believe that going for either a long note or a hybrid ban is going to be par for the course, and hybrid one is going to be Bloomin'.
Oh, okay, this is actually fine as well, I think. Because China have a very good Bloomin' score. China set 2,967,000.
Yeah, going hybrid for the bans is actually sensible if you look at the long note, like I said, the long note map pool. Long note 3, probably also one of the riskiest kind of unknowns on the board, and China having protected that, France definitely considered some other options for the bans.
So what will France want to go for here? It's probably going to be one of the rice.
Yeah, trust their physicality against China
Oh.
perhaps, or maybe just
Calculator.
get some information, calculating the information actually. Just start with a hybrid, see what kind of scores they get against China, kind of get a taste for their mood of today for the first map.
Okay, this is a very interesting pick because France, they didn't get to play Calculator against Malaysia, but for China, they did against the Russian Federation. They scored 2,958,000. So a pretty respectable team score.
Yeah, honestly, France having the information and China not having the information is definitely something. It's probably something that France took into account, and as a first pick, definitely kind of a good poker play, so to speak.
Yeah, there will be a couple of stops here from China. I did see Tyrix, but I don't think Tyrix will play hybrid. And there we go, we do see Niasun come in with nickname and Mafufu for China. France will be Quentin, Nahashi, and Aura.
Yeah, pretty standard lineups for each of the teams. Aura definitely more on the coordination side rather than physical side, so definitely matches with the profile of Calculator.
Yeah, this hybrid is more technical. There's some wacky snaps. There's a speed up in the middle of the map. So a lot to really take into account for.
As both teams get ready, we are starting soon. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's have fun.
Oh, there was a last second swap actually. Tyrix coming in.
Oh, I didn't even see that. I didn't even catch that.
I didn't even see that too.
Very sneaky. That was very sneaky. Hey, China.
They replaced nickname.
Yeah, China just throwing some surprises here and there.
Well, let's see if this works out. Maybe Tyrix did set a better score than nickname over the last day or so.
Yeah, and this intro, Narahashi's accuracy is gonna come into question here. Aura's too, as China is collectively going above 99.7.
That's a huge drop from Aura as well, dipping to 99.2, and China will have a good lead at the start of this map. And like I mentioned, all these wacky snaps, these like bursty rolls can definitely trip up not just accuracy but your combo.
accuracy is being dropped on the Chinese side. Turks and Mafufu getting under the 99.6 territory.
Yeah, but Nyasun is doing so well to just pull China ahead.
Yeah, it's gonna be Nyasun against Quentin, going one against another, and Nyasun definitely has a substantial advantage, but nothing is lost yet for the French team.
Yeah, this map doesn't really let up at all. So a lot of choke points still left in this map, and a lot of areas where China can definitely drop and give Fun some hope.
Yeah, definitely have to look out for the outro. The outro is very much more physical. Get some of that speed up going on, the BPM increasing bit by bit, and the pressure just increasing with it.
But we are going to end the map very soon. 12,000 points of the lead. I don't think China are going to let this one up. Aura with a miss, that should do it. And that is a point to China, a break point to China, and a good start for them.
Yeah, starting with a breakpoint on the Chinese side and such a good team effort. That is very, very much unified. Look at their 200 count, 6, 7, 8. They have a streak going up, and very good accuracy coming from Yasin as well.
Yeah, Tyreek's definitely doing well to fill in for nickname spot. They did what they had to do. And now it is going to be China's pick.
Yeah, looking at the French scores, you definitely see why France decided to go on hybrid 3 for the first pick. However, that first breakpoint's gonna hurt starting the match.
I'm thinking one of the LNs from China should come out. Any of the three, honestly, because China have a better LN 1 and LN 2. They did protect LN 3. So there is some confidence there. But whether or not they will want to go for it or also dip into the SVs, I think that could be a little bit of a risk. But yeah, they are not going to take the risk at all. They're going for Heaven's Fall. So the LN density coming out now. China have a better score on this than France by about 14,000 points. Not much of a difference. But with the nature of this map, there is going to be a lot of points where you're prone to missing because there is some stamina involved.
Yeah, Heaven's Fall, definitely one of the more quote-unquote full combo maps of the map pool. So China probably aiming for accuracy on this one. I think they know they have a good accuracy lineup, and going against France, especially on the lone node department where France might be a little bit behind, definitely a good first pick to start with from China.
Yeah, we are going to see if Sunny's going to come in for this one because Sunny did set the best score on China's team for Heaven's Fall. We do see Tyreek's come out, so maybe Sunny will be swapping in soon. But, oh, okay, there we go. Sunny is in the lobby. We're waiting for France's third player, which is going to be Barbie. I believe France's other third player should be Narahashi that played Heaven's Fall against Malaysia, but there is going to be a different lineup for this.
Yeah, we didn't see Baby Bed Blue yesterday, and seeing their appearance today is probably signs of change.
Yeah, maybe this will be a better lineup for France than when they had to face Malaysia, so we'll see if the gap gets closed. Because it's only 14,000 points these two teams have set scores on.
Yeah, just as a reminder for the spectators, Baby Bed Blue is a dedicated flashlight player, so nothing wrong here. And no,
Yeah.
Flashlight does not award extra multiplier. It is 1.0 in Mania.
Yeah. All visual mods are 1.0 in Osmania. But so far, France actually have the lead because Nyasun is actually losing out on the third player battle. Actually, Mafufu dropped as well. But
Whoa.
double miss from France at the build-up towards the first section, and that's a lead to China.
Yeah, that was a weird miss. That was a weird collective miss as well. Just Quentin and Babybel just collectively told themselves, yeah, I'm gonna miss in this build-up.
Yeah, I think they weren't too warmed up in the intro of the map, and once things got going, we saw a couple of accuracy drops from Nyasun and Mafufu, but Quentin and Barbie dropping combo with that. It's not going to help France, and China have a 12,000 point lead. It is shrinking slightly because France is recovering, but this is still a stable lead.
Yeah, I think for the rest of the map, it's gonna come down to China's consistency on the map. Just keep their combo intact, and Heaven's Fall is one of the easier maps to keep combo on. So China definitely on a good position here, but don't let up yet.
Yeah, now we're going into the next chorus. This is the part where you can easily drop combo. But so far, all these okay. Never mind. Yeah, and Barbie does find a miss, so China's lead will extend.
Yeah, that
There was
is
200 from Quentin.
yeah, that is pretty unfortunate coming from the French side, but it is China's first pick to boot, so kind of a silver lining in the strategic side of things. Maybe France wants to explore the rice territory on the next pick.
Yeah, they should. I think France will definitely be able to come quite close to China on the rise. But as the map is going to close itself off, it is probably going to be a China point. Barbie misses again just to affirm my statement.
Yeah, come to think of it, Yasun's accuracy went down gradually as the map went by, so maybe signs of a stamina issue on the map in particular, dropping a fair amount of 200 towards the tail end of the map. Still a great team score coming from China. Triple FC, that's what we like to see.
Yeah, and 6-200 from Sunny as well. They once again MVP for China.
Yeah, 992 is an outstanding score coming from China, especially in the losers bracket.
But now it is France's turn to pick. We do see Patous. Are we going to see SV? We are. Sample Ensemble. France's Protect is coming out.
Yeah, so France kind of stalling the rice department for now, just picking SV to stall out the rice and just not give too much information about their physicality.
Here's something really funny. Both teams protected SV1, and both teams didn't play. They didn't play this map.
Yeah.
So this is the first time we're seeing these teams play it.
They actually opted for the same exact strategy of not playing SV1, protecting SV1 but not playing SV1 to keep the information for the second match, and that's when, right now is when it's gonna matter. Have they trained enough to overcome the other team? That is gonna be a blind shot coming from France, but I believe they're confident enough to actually go for the shot first.
But these should be the dedicated SV teams. I know China had a different SV team when they had to play Complex from the round of 16. I believe it was Sunny, Mafufu, and Tyrix. But we see Kaisium in for this one. As for France, it is unchanged.
Yeah, France has their dedicated SV lineup. Well, some of the players are also like transfers from other skill sets, but Patu is definitely one of the best SV players in France, if not in the world as well. I believe SV is also one of the more stressful picks in this map pool. A lot can happen in the SV, so if you happen to spot a 10,000, 20,000 lead, know that it can go away in 1 single second.
It's quite funny seeing all of France go for no fail and all of China just having no mods on.
Yeah, just put the no fail for more confidence.
Have confidence. Okay, here comes the first few SVs, no one getting tripped up by it too majorly. It is just an accuracy battle at the moment. Here comes the first few stops.
Yeah, for now,
All
China's
teams do.
accuracy intact. Oh, as I say that, Kaisian dropping a tiny bit of accuracy. But
Yeah, things are getting a little bit close.
Yeah, Aura quite a bit behind compared to the Chinese team. Definitely going to give a little bit of advantage, but remember, 10,000 is just a combo break away.
Yeah, but China's accuracy now just extending across France's because Aura dropped below 99 and that's a miss from Quentin.
And another
Completely getting lost in the starter section, but so is Kaisium.
Yeah, losing a fair amount of accuracy as well, dropping at 98.7. And Patu's carrying this lobby right now with 99.6 almost. And more misses coming from the Chinese side.
Yeah, those are pretty hefty drops, but is it going to be enough to swing it to France? Because France have two very low 98s. It's Mafufu against Patu's. But overall accuracy, China still have that advantage.
I cannot understate how important it is for both teams to keep their full combos alive. Patus and Mafufu just keeping their leads intact.
Yeah, more starters coming your way. Oh, Mafufu dropped to 200. Luckily, they still have the combo.
Oh my god,
For
that
France,
lead.
it's a miss from Aura.
Yeah, now that's gonna give more of the lead to China, more than they already had before.
That should be it. China will take it, 41,000 points. It was shaky. A little bit shaky from China's side, but they did get a job done in Patus. That's a really good score, 6,200s.
Yeah, honestly, Mafufu and Patus doing a really great job of carrying their team and just sustaining that foundation that each of the teams needed for this pick. That's going to be another breakpoint for China, though.
Indeed it is, and it is back to China to pick. They picked LN 2. Will they go for 1 or 3? Or something else?
And honestly, I could see France going for SV2 anyways, because SV2 is so different from SV1 that there's still uncertainty in which scores each team is gonna get.
Yeah, there's something to definitely keep in mind. But China are going for LN1 Astro Walkthrough.
Yeah, keeping the LN strategy, and I believe that the LN strategy is a good one.
Yeah, France somewhat struggled on this when they had to play against Malaysia. There is a 66,000 point gap between these two teams on this map. So it is a pretty safe pick from China, but we'll have to see once we actually get into it.
Yeah, honestly, the coordination and focus required for this pick in particular can't swing things one way or the other with combo breaks. Many combo breaks have happened in this pick before, but in theory, China should have the advantage, especially in terms of accuracy. but it still remains to be seen whether France can pull a breakpoint from this.
And France putting in Barbie again. So no Narahashi. And it is the same 3 China players that played against the Russian Federation on this map.
I believe China has their full trust in their long note roster, especially on the pick.
Yeah, so watch out for Kaisium actually, because Kaisium did set the best score for the China side. As for France, Quentin actually got the best score from for France.
Yeah, Kaisium definitely one of the major carries for the Chinese team on the on the entire map really, and Quentin as well, just across the board. Both Rice and LNs and hybrids and so on.
Okay, I think we just need to wait for client to probably sort itself, because is that an extremely huge drop? That is not an extremely huge drop from Mafufu at all. Client has sorted itself. It is a China lead because the accuracy of Barbie and Quentin are quite low.
Yeah, I think it's a common theme for France's LNs to kind of be on the low side in terms of accuracy, but it still remains to be seen whether they can catch up in terms of combo. I believe combo strategy is what they should go for against China, just hoping for a choke.
Yeah, if you can't beat them in accuracy, you just have to play the long game and hope for China to miss. But if the accuracies get so huge in terms of the gap, then it is going to need like a couple of misses.
Yeah, look at the Chinese accuracy right now, all above 99.6. That's going to be a huge ordeal for France to overcome. It's going to take maybe maybe 2 combo breaks.
Not to mention that France have to have combos of themselves, but all are miss. The highest accuracy of France now gone.
Yeah, it's pretty unfortunate coming from Aura.
Yeah, the other 2 players of France still keeping their combos intact. I say that, but both players now miss. It is UFC's to complete full 3 from China.
Yeah, Ravel just throwing some pipe bombs on France's way, unfortunately. But China still intact. All 3 full combos, and are we going to see another outstanding team score coming from China? They have been so consistent throughout those 3 points.
Yeah, they had a 2,944,000. I think if they keep the combos and accuracy this way, they're gonna beat it. That has to be a landslide victory for China as we approach the end of the map. It will be a 4th point.
Yeah, I just
And
want to
it could potentially... Yeah?
Just kind of want to see the final team score coming from
Yeah,
China. That's
they
a triple
destroyed
MC.
it. They completely destroyed their score against the Russian Federation by about 19,000 points. And it is a 3-way FC for China. And it's back to France's pick.
China is in a good mood right now. It is going to be very hard for France to recover back. You gotta believe if France is gonna come back in terms of physicality, in terms of Rice. I think if they're gonna pick Rice, it's now, because if they lose this pick, then it's China's turn to pick again, and they're gonna close this match with a sweep.
Yeah, Rice is still on the board. 5 maps, barring just Filler being banned out by China. There is Cyber Thundersider open. Maybe France could have a think about that one. And I believe hybrids and LLNs are just a no-go.
I think physicality is still on the table in terms of challenge, but I don't know. It seems that China is definitely on a good mood, judging from the hybrid and long nodes performances.
I mean, if they are going to go for Rise, which one could they go for? They did play Rise 1 and Rise 4, as well as Rise 6. Rise 6, they lose out to China though. China did also play Rise 6.
Yeah, difficult situation for France right now. 4-0. You do not want to be in this situation, and it's all up to them to try to make their best, to make the best of a bad situation.
And it does seem like the timer's running out soon, and they do pick Nisei Mono right at the death of the timer. So it is Rise 6.
Yeah, Nisimono, a very popular pick across all countries. Nisimono, probably one of the safer technical picks, because Bakamitai is fairly physical and Break the Silence is too long. So Nisimono, kind of a middle ground option for France to test physicality against China.
Yeah, this map is quite bursty, very technical. Definitely can give some room for China to miss, but that also means that France have to keep combos themselves, and we've seen it over the last couple of maps. When France were hoping for China to miss, they just missed by themselves.
Unfortunately, there's not much you can do when your opponent doesn't miss. And is this gonna happen again on this pick?
We do see Tyrix in for this one, as well as Mr. FR.
Yeah, some new entrants on the field. Some new unknowns to take into account. Some new fields to feast your eyes on.
Yeah, no nickname for this one. Nickname did play Nisei Mono against the Russian Federation, but there seems to be a strategic swap here with Tyrix. 2 mirrors from China.
Is that the disconnect?
That looks to be a disconnect, and that was at the start of the map as well. So, fortunately for France, this will be an MP abort and a restart. But unsure about what happened there. I believe that was Mr. FR disconnecting from the lobby.
So kind of a strange situation. France figuring out what happened to Mr. FR exactly.
Okay, so they are saying that Mr. FR is back.
I just have to settle Mr. FR back in on the tournament server, and just making it quick so that the players do not cool down.
Let's give this a second shot.
Yes, take 2. Take 1 doesn't exist. Nothing happened. We didn't see anything.
Yeah, hopefully the nerves are also settling down a little bit. If France do lose this, it is match point to China, and that means that there's potential for France to not be able to pick again. So for France, this is a very crucial map.
Yes, 4-0. They have to get something back, otherwise their backs are against the wall, especially since China still have to protect element number 3 on the board.
Yeah, right at the start, it throws nothing else but punches. So China have the very early accuracy advantage, and yeah, like you mentioned, Mr. FR, with the low accuracy finds the first miss.
yeah, already behind in terms of accuracy, dropping the combo. Definitely getting a little bit behind, but the accuracies on the French side look to be a little bit better. So we are still in the quarter of the map. Anything is still
Tyrix.
recoverable.
Tyrix's accuracy lower than Mr. FR. So this is why the lead is so small, and Yasun with the miss. Will this swing it to Funds and Might with the accuracy difference? But Mr. will miss right as the lead was about to creep towards Funds.
Yeah,
and it is still China's. Oh, but Kaisium right at the end of the burst.
Right on the break as well. Oh my god. That was the last node before the break. That is so unfortunate. But Narahashi on the build-up.
It's 1-1, Tyrix and Quentin. This lead now still going to be in favor of China because of that. But you have to feel like there's some nerves being involved here.
Yeah, still the last third of the map to go. And anything can happen to China to swing it back to France. And otherwise as well. France is definitely looking a little bit fragile on this pick.
Yeah, it's all on Quentin. Quentin is setting the best score in this lobby. I think just slightly better than Yasun, even with the accuracy disadvantage, because Yasun did miss. But
yeah,
France have to hold it together.
Yeah, it is Nyasin versus Quentin right now. Mr. FR versus Kaisium. Texas and Narashi.
This lead is actually slightly going to China, but Kaisium will miss.
Is that gonna swing it? Is that gonna swing it? But Quentin is swinging it back!
The last FC from France falls. China will climb upwards if Kaisium doesn't miss, but they do. There enough time for France to try and pull one last swing back. I don't think there is. The accuracies are just not enough. China,
Yeah, that is...
third breakpoint.
Yeah, no, that is unfortunate because France definitely had a chance if in that last speed burst, speed section, they managed to maintain some of their accuracies. But Nyasen, just a pillar of accuracy, 99.78. Despite the miss, that is an outstanding score coming from them.
Yeah, and out of nowhere, Tyrix with the only FC of the lobby.
Yeah, maintaining the FC is also very, very important. Very, very major FC to get on this pick.
Yeah, and unfortunately from France, it is a China match point situation. And that is still with LN3 open. Surely China has to go for LN3. They have been picking LN only.
Yeah, I do believe that the Protect is going to go here unless they are convinced by the French team to pick SV2.
Okay. You know what? I'm okay with this. I like this. I like that China are, you know, giving into France's desires. And I mean, China has always had a really strong SV roster. So I think China do not mind going for SV2. But we will see if this could be a twist. Maybe, if France are able to pull off something.
Yeah, this is one of the rare matches where both SVs are actually picked by different teams.
It's always nice to see the SV maps get picked, especially when both teams are in agreement to it.
Yeah, I'm really interested to see the scores coming from each team because Cyber Thunder Cider is a map where you either bust or you score high.
Yeah, I've been mentioning this throughout all of my commentary in this round, but Cyber Thunder Cider can be summed up with two words: swing and momentum. You have both, you're gonna do well. If you struggle on one of them, you might be struggling on a couple of sections.
Yeah, just both of the teams humoring each other on a pretty good mood. despite being a 5-0, France being good sports about it.
I believe these are the dedicated SV lineups again. So no surprises here, we should be underway for the 6th map of this match.
Oh no, Mafufu. Mafufu, some last minute anxiety. Offset anxiety. We don't like those.
Oh man. Let's hope things go well once the match actually, once the map actually begins. Yeah, let's see how much these two teams have done their homework on this map. Reminder that both teams did not play Cyber Thunder Cider. So the first swing reading sections come in now. There is an accuracy drop coming from the side of Aura. Irix as well actually struggling a little bit. So it is just Mafufu and Sunny's accuracies of 99.9 being the difference right now.
Yeah, the Chinese team having 2 above 99.9 scores, whereas France is only leading with 1 almost coming from Patous. Quentin's still on a good trend, can still catch the Chinese team by surprise, and the scores, all things considered, are very close.
Yeah, it's just a couple of accuracy drops from the side of Aura. Tyrix as well, but we did see a couple of accuracy drops from Sunny and Mafufu, now down to 99.7 and 99.8 respectively. So this lead is actually quite close.
Yeah, it all comes down to the focus that each team can keep, but Quentin comes first to the combo breaks.
Yeah, once you lose the momentum, once you just lose the slightest of focus, there goes your accuracy, there goes your combo. And the slow gems, I think they did catch Sunny and Aura quite a bit. Back to the callers.
Yeah, China's still intact right now. Three full combos.
Tyrix actually dropping a little bit of accuracy. And Quentin completely missing on that reading section where the notes look like jacks. And Quentin dips below 99%.
Still,
Aura as well, actually.
Yeah, the rest of the lobby still full combos intact. And the last part of the map. Not much time for France to catch up on this last potential point.
Yeah, it is still 3 FCs from the side of China. This just looks like a landslide victory to China again. If they are able to just hold on to combos. At this point, accuracy probably doesn't matter anymore. Tyrix is doing all he can to just hold on to the FC. And that it is. China will take the 6th point and the sweep.
Yep, that's gonna be another triple FC coming from China on the SV Big to boot. That is an outstanding team score. Again, China just playing out of their minds today. That is very unfortunate for France getting the sweep. France did get the sweep yesterday, but they're getting swept today.
Yeah, I'd just like to mention there was a 200 and a 100. I believe from Patous and Hysium, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, just outstanding SV players all
Sorry,
around.
not Hysium. Mafufu, my bad.
Yeah.
But yeah, that will be it for France's World Cup, Mania 4K World Cup 2023 campaign. It ends here. China will move into the top 12 into the semi-finals lower bracket.
Yeah, I'm very
And I
curious to
believe
see. Very curious
they will
to
be
see
facing. They'll be
sorry.
facing Thailand.
Oh my god, China, Thailand. That's very interesting. I don't know how much China can scale up to semifinals, but in any case, it's gonna be a wild ride. Remember, the Maple Showcase, it's at 15 UTC, but we still have some more matches going on at the same time on the main channel, and one other remaining one that we might be able to show you.
Yeah, so the mainstream right now, Japan and Indonesia are currently still duking it out. It is currently a 4-2 scoreline. As for Vietnam versus United Kingdom, which is the other match that has not been streamed at all, I'm not sure the situation of that at the moment. But I believe there is a map ongoing, and I think it is 5-1 to Vietnam.
Yeah, 5-1 to Vietnam. They're playing Nisimano right now. They're just monitoring the last results. And Japan, Indonesia, just 5-2. 5-2 for Japan.
And I believe we are switching over to Vietnam and United Kingdom for Nisei Mono, which is United Kingdom's pick.
Yeah, all things considered, look at how close this is, and Big Sal's pick is gonna swing the lead towards the United Kingdom.
Yeah, United Kingdom are holding on to tournament lives. Yeah, Magnificio finds a miss. It's 2 misses from the side of Vietnam. United Kingdom, all FCs intact. There might be a slight accuracy disadvantage with Cool Dude, yes. And despite Chidon doing so well, 99.9%, it is a United Kingdom lead.
Yeah, the lead is slim though. It all relies on accuracies, and Magnifestio's and Trade One Gaming accuracies just kind of leading over the United Kingdom, but Trade One Gaming accuracy drop before the break, and Magnifestio just dropping on the build-up, just like Nahashi on the French team.
Yeah, but like we saw with China and France, this map still gets extremely brutal in the second half. So United Kingdom cannot get comfortable yet. I'm a little bit worried about Cool Dude, yes. Because with the accuracy being that low, you might think that a miss might be lingering around.
Yeah, they have to play combo here.
Yeah, and these patterns just do not let up.
Last quarter of the map, 12,000 points lead for the United Kingdom. It's definitely a good situation, but it is a situation that can be reversed, especially if Zubin's gonna miss right now.
Yeah, one of the higher accuracies from United Kingdom dropping as we're still going on with this very bursty rolly section, and the lead is actually slowly shrinking. I think accuracies from the United Kingdom side is dropping, and Nielsen drops the combo, but trades it back. The lead now in United Kingdom's favor still. But with the time running out, will Vietnam be able to stash right back at the end? Nielsen will miss. If Vietnam do not miss, that's it. Vietnam take it right at the death. 5,000 points. Nielsen's miss is the final nail in United Kingdom's 2023 run. And Vietnam, by some absolute miracle from Tridon's FC, take it 6-1. They are moving into the top 12. That is incredible.
What a way to move into semifinals coming from Vietnam. What an ending. What an ending.
Absolute commiserations to United Kingdom. They had that in the bag for a good chunk of the map, and Vietnam just had to say, no, you're not getting away with your second. Vietnam taking it 6-1. And they will be advancing to face Chile in what is going to be another hot-blooded match.
Oh my god. Semifinals is looking so stacked right now. And, well, I kind of know what the map pool is gonna look like, and the map pool is definitely up to the caliber of the countries that qualified for the semifinals.
Yeah, but with that being said, we are done with this stream because, believe it or not, Japan Indonesia is still going. On the main stream, the A stream, we are going to invade them real soon.
Yeah, just gonna be quick about it because it is 5-2. Have a good
Yeah,
one. See you on
so-
the other side.
See you on the other side.